He was shot as he tried to run from his car after a high-speed chase and crash. America is listening to Fox News.
JV International Safety Equipment has it all for you. Fall protection, rain gear, traffic signs, speed bumps, custom signs and banners, PPEs, fire extinguishers, plus more. Check them out on Facebook at JV International Safety Equipment Company or visit their website, www.jvisec.com. JV International Safety Equipment, Guam's leader in occupational and environmental safety equipment. Call 688-9524. JV International Safety Equipment, located in Harmon Industrial Park.
Go green, go solar, and save big with Nambo Insurance. When you power up your home with solar panels, Nambo Insurance will pay up to $350 toward your power bill. With Nambo, you can enjoy great savings while going green and helping to save Guam's environment. At Nambo, it pays to go green. Terms and conditions apply. Visit Nambo.com or call 477-9754 for details. Nambo Insurance, proudly serving Guam for over 50 years.
The president could address a full House chamber for next month's State of the Union.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says she hopes to be able to invite every member of Congress to attend President Biden's State of the Union address on March 1st.
I think that people are ready to pivot in a way that shows to the American people we've largely been vaccinated.
But Pelosi says decisions on lifting COVID precaution protocols here will come from guidance from the Office of the Attending Physician.
I'm hoping that every week brings us closer to a bigger participation.
President Biden's first address to Congress last year was attended by a limited number of lawmakers with strict capacity limits and social distancing.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the Capitol. Thousands of turkeys are being euthanized, and a farm is under quarantine in southern Indiana after a case of bird flu was found, the first confirmed case in commercial poultry in the U.S. since 2020. The USDA says there's no immediate public health concern and that turkeys from the infected farm will not enter the food supply. Avian influenza was found when samples from the farm were analyzed after about 100 turkeys died. Comedians take a page out of the songwriter's book in a lawsuit against a streaming service.
The estates of Robin Williams and George Carlin, joined by comedians Andrew Dice Clay, Bill Engvall, and Ron White, are suing Pandora, claiming the service doesn't properly license their performances. For spoken word recordings like comic stand-ups, streaming services like Pandora and Spotify only pay for the recording and not the composition itself, in this case, comedy writing. Whereas for music, each piece is covered by 2 copyrights, one for the sound recording and another for the underlying written music.
Fox's Monica DeLuca. An hour to the close, still a rally. The Dow's up 275 points. I'm Lisa Brady. This is Fox News.
Attention Guam Power Authority commercial accounts. GPA proudly announces that our Energy Sense rebate program has just gotten bigger and better to include customers on rate schedule G and J. With GPA's Energy Sense program, commercial accounts can receive up to $350 per ton in rebates with the purchase of a qualified unit through any of our approved vendors. The GPA Energy Sense rebate program helps lower energy costs, improves energy efficiency, and saves you money. Visit us at guampowerauthority.com/energysense. Effective dates for units may vary.
BK's new Double Whopper Jr. Your Way meal is now available. The Double Whopper Jr. is made with 2 fire-grilled burger patties, creamy mayonnaise, fresh lettuce and tomato, crunchy pickles, ketchup, and freshly cut onions on a toasted sesame seed bun. Our New Way meal includes french fries, 4-piece chicken nuggets, and a refreshing Coca-Cola. Get your hands on the new Double Whopper Jr. Your Way meal at your favorite Burger King location. Please wear your mask and practice social distancing. BK Tumon Bay, Hagåtña, Micronesia Mall, and the airport. BK Your Way.
Hafide, this is Severina. Here at APL, our expertise and extensive network can help you grow your business and reach out to more global markets. As a responsible carrier, APL is also committed to a sustainable future, whether it's protecting the environment or investing our efforts in giving back to the community. Our dedicated teams in Guam, Saipan, and on U.S. mainland are here to support you. Call 588-4651 or visit www.apl.com.
Guam Auto Spot has the best selection in Buick, GMC, Mitsubishi, and used cars like the 2021 Mitsubishi Mirage starting at $127 per paycheck, 0 down. Call 671-478-AUTO to take a test drive or get pre-approved online at guamautospot.com.
Half a day, it's 6:07. I'm Montesova Tyron with a look at your local news on The Point. The governor is still pursuing her lease of the Manilao property for her new hospital and will be looking at a 99-year lease from the Department of the Navy. It's no secret the administration's been eyeing the old Eagles Field in Manilao for the medical complex, even as an adjacent site is being surveyed for a possible military radar communications station. The governor, in a live virtual press conference yesterday, said that the lease negotiations between the government of Guam and the joint region are ongoing. Missile Defense Agency is also doing an assessment of an adjacent property near Eagles Field, which the governor said was once a radar communication site. The property the governor is talking about is still in the federal assets inventory and not listed in what's called the net negative list, which is a listing of all the excess property. Local companies in Guam and the Commonwealth of the NMI can now apply to employ foreign workers for civilian housing development projects under new exemptions that were recently adopted by the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Service. The Post reports the policy alert issued by the USCIS extends H-2B visa exemptions to petitioners whose contracts or subcontracts are supporting or are adversely affected by the military realignment. Congressman Mike Sinicolas says that the policy change includes the need for more housing as an eligible H-2B need, acknowledges the adverse impact on available labor as a result of the military buildup, and creates a process for the Guam Department of Labor to have a greater role in the H-2B approval consideration, all of which will help get more workers to bring down the cost of housing on Guam and boost our civilian construction industry. Meanwhile, the U.S. Department of Labor announced an incremental award of $1.7 million to the government of Guam. That money will support continued disaster relief, unemployment, and employment and workforce development in response to the pandemic. This is one of 64 national dislocated worker grants that the Department of Labor has made, and to help address workforce-related impacts of the pandemic. The Guam Department of Labor Director Dave De La Sola says this latest incremental award will mostly be used to pay for remaining temporary workers who were sent to government agencies and private entities to help with the pandemic cleanup as well as recovery. We'll have more news right after this. The death of a man found at a Jigo ranch this month has now been classified a homicide now that an autopsy has been completed. Pat Sakai said to have been stabbed multiple times and suffered from blunt force trauma. The Guam Daily Post reports a forensic pathologist from Hawaii completed the autopsy over the weekend. Sakai, who was 63, was found dead at a Jigo ranch. No arrests have been made. Investigators have not confirmed if they have any potential suspects. Also, according to the Post, an autopsy was completed this past weekend on a man who was found dead in a trash fire in Chalanpago. The unidentified man's body was found on January 29th. Investigators suspect foul play, but details of the autopsy have not been released. And 4 more COVID-related fatalities reported this morning, bringing the island's COVID fatality number to 303. All 3 were elderly individuals who did have underlying health conditions. They also report the number of hospitalizations continue to rise. Today, it's 52 people admitted with COVID-19, 6 people in intensive care. And from the testing, 594 new cases have been reported out of 1,547 people who came out to get tested. 84 of those cases reported through the Department of Defense. Meanwhile, the Department of Public Health received another 8,000 doses of COVID test kits, but they continue to ration the supply as thousands continue to get tested each day. Public Health expects to receive another 70,000 COVID test kits soon. In the meantime, they are prioritizing those who are having COVID symptoms or who are considered high risks. And those are your top stories here on The Point. Here's Ray with your weather.
Yeah, I'll get around to it. Just got to find it. Here it comes. Mostly sunny in the forecast today. Highs near 86 degrees. East-northeast winds 11 to 16 miles an hour with gusts as high as 20 miles an hour. Expect some isolated showers today and tonight. Otherwise, partly cloudy skies. Overnight lows 76 degrees. East winds 10 to 15 miles an hour. Gusting as high as about 20. Again, mostly sunny in the forecast for tomorrow, which is Friday. Just thought I'd point that out. Easterly winds 10 to 14 miles an hour. Daytime highs tomorrow 86 degrees. With a heat index, it'll feel like 90 degrees. Rip current warning still in effect right now. Sunrise at 6:46. Sunset tonight is going to be at 6:25. There it is. News and weather together brought to you by Bank Pacific. Banking on the Pacific for 67 years.
Love is perfect timing. And now is the time to make a move on the apple of your eye. A new iPhone 13 and Apple Watch make the perfect pair. And you can get yours now during GTA's Valentine's Day special. For a limited time, buy an iPhone 13 on HPO and get an Apple Watch 7 for free. While supplies last, terms and conditions apply. To find out more, visit gta.net or call us at 671-644-4482. Roses are red, violets are blue. At GTA, we start with you.
My family and I trust the FHP Health Center because of our connection with the healthcare providers. The services are mostly under one roof, enabling a one-stop for all of my family's medical, urgent care, imaging, dental, vision, laboratory, and pharmacy needs. My family and I trust FHP Health Center. You can too. FHP accepts most insurance plans, TRICARE, Medicare, Medicaid, and self-pay patients. For an appointment, call 671-646-5825, press 1, or takecareasia.com. FHP Health Center, our island, your clinic.
Wow. Kind of abrupt that one there. Portions of the program brought to you by APL American President Lines, a global presence with a local home. Also being brought to you by Mama Tove and her people over at Tove's Flower Shop in Morning, not too far away from the current hospital. And the reason why you want to hang out with them is because they have generally everything that you need to make Valentine's. Well, it's her big dream come true. You got roses and bears and chocolates and balloons, everything for Valentine's. They're open today until 5, tomorrow and Sunday. Wait. Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. There we go. 10 to 5 on Sunday. Why is the Sunday hours important? So you don't get caught unaware, right? Because you're going to be Super Bowling on Monday, and so you're going to go, it's going to be like all over. The Bengals will have won, and you'll say, there's something else about today. What is that? Well, make sure that you swing by Tove's Flower Shop and get everything all taken care of before that. 646-4132. That's 671-646-4132 for Tove's Flower Shop.
The Ray Gibson Show. Morning talk that matters. Call now. 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
The H2s are coming back. The H2s are coming back. Leading the charge, there'll be Mike Sinicolas carrying the Guam flag, coming out of the airport, and he'll be followed by hundreds and hundreds of Filipino guys that want to do your kitchen tile and want to replace the cabinets and maybe even retaining walls and stuff like that.
The sea of kuyas.
It's the sea of construction kuyas coming to Guam. Hey, welcome to the program. Excuse the mess. It is the Ray Gibson Show on 93.3 The Point. My name is Ray. Thrilled as usual to be here with you. And I don't know why, but I feel like it's extra saliva today. Are you getting that? Were you listening to the broadcast?
Yeah. I'm hungry for life too, Ray.
I just feel like there could be some additional slurpiness as the program continues here this morning. At any rate, I'm crazy thrilled to be here Thursday morning, making our way to Friday. A lot of people got a big weekend coming up in preparations for the big game on Monday. And then, of course, as we've been saying, and touting it's Valentine's weekend. Now, there's a very good likelihood, and I don't care, a lot of people, you're just single guy, single girl, whatever. Somebody out there believes that they're in a relationship with you of one kind or another. So you might want to just ponder that, reflect on that for just a moment. If there's somebody, like I said, that might be under the impression that, there's a thing going on, maybe something from Toast. You know what we got? We'll give them away today. I got 1, 2, 3 roses. I got that three 3 rose flower
Friend
set.
zone.
I know.
It's a friend zone.
Here's your friend zone flower arrangement from Mama Tove. Real Joe gets the phone when you call it 888-8255-888-TALK because that's the phone number here. The meme machine is online, and you know it's a slow start. A slow start on the meme machine. Jose Martinez with much to celebrate. Number one, he's got pictures of one of these downhill snow skiing things in China. What they're referring to as an urban hellscape. Apparently, those they're steel works in the background, and those are the cooling towers for the steel. Apparently, thousands and thousands of people work there. Yeah, huge industry. but you know what I read yesterday? And I don't know how true it is, but I read it on the internet, so it must be a grain of truth. I didn't hear it from Joe Rogan. I'm just saying.
Okay.
But I'm gonna according to what I read yesterday, this is the first Winter Olympics with no real snow. Everything that's taken place, they're using artificial snow or industrial infused ice for all of the ice events, your curling events, and things like that. Isn't that amazing? We get to that point in the technology where we don't even have to worry about snow for something like, I don't know, the Winter Olympics.
Let's throw it here then, Ray. Next time.
Dude.
We get snow at the mall once in a while.
God, when was the last time that we did that? At GPO, all of those years ago, there was over by where Applebee's and I want to say TGI Fridays, but Applebee's and what's the Lone Star?
Yeah,
not Lone Star, the other one, Longhorn. That whole area.
Yeah.
Once upon a time. And some of you might remember this pretty well. Once upon a time, they built a building there and put a whole bunch of chillers in there, and then they threw some snow, and that was a winter wonderland experience.
Monty did that.
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
People all over Micronesia came
I wonder
here.
what happened to that snow. Do you think they still have it?
Sold it as souvenirs.
Sold the snow.
Little bags of water. Here's your souvenir. Hope you had a good time. It wasn't that long ago. I was saying Becky North and the Habitat for Humanity had a fundraiser going on in the area that was Chuck E. Cheese. I'm completely wrong on this. It wasn't there. It was somewhere else. But in my mind, it was over at Chuck E. Cheese. And they had brought in one of these, I think it was made out of the same thing as they make cutting boards out of, but you can use that with ice skates. And people were going down there and skating on this artificial.
Oh, they used to have one, a little tiny place in the middle of GPO.
Oh, yeah. Like polyurethane.
Yeah.
Exactly that. You know, and of course, you get people my age, and we just go, kids these days are so spoiled. They got snow in the building, and they got polyurethane skates. You know what we had when we were kids? You know what? Our winter wonderland was riding in the back of the pickup truck when you go to Pedro's to get ice. That was it. Here, Kenny, sit on the ice, boy. Hold that down. We're gonna, got to drive all the way down to Melissa with that. So you don't let it roll around in the back of the truck. That was our version of Winter Wonderland when we were growing up. 20 after 6 o'clock in the morning. You might recognize the other voice, Mana Silva Tyron, and she's going to be taking us through news and headlines and all kinds of other stuff today. And you know who's helping out? You know who's contributing to our news and headlines this morning?
No, I don't.
Jay Rojas.
Oh, mahalos.
Jay Rojas. I don't know if he's online right now. I haven't turned. So I haven't turned the gizmo on yet. But he was. He'd sent us a thing about a guy, former state senator in Hawaii, now has been busted for
accepting bribes. Sounds like.
And now this is going to be an interesting story for me, and Jay Rojas knows this because he knows how I feel about FestPac, and apparently this guy was lifting money out of the maybe out of the FestPac thing. I got to get the rest of the story.
It sounded like he was receiving gifts and not reporting it, and
Free Governor Torres
in exchange of voting down certain pieces of legislation.
I see. So using his position in office to be able to affect legislation and things.
And he was the guy in charge of
the
FestPac coordination.
Unbelievable. Well, and like I said, always look at the FestPac thing. It's all these little island nations that are trying to one up each other, and here we are in Guam. The story I didn't get around to talking about yesterday, and I don't know why. Maybe there's just so much else going on, and I was making a big point about how we're at the end of the pandemic. Can we please move on and get rid of the mandates? Apparently, the governor was on the social media yesterday and said that the mandates are going to stick around, Brown. Even those, like, everybody in the world is saying, well, the hypnotized ones are saying, no, we got to keep the mandates. We got to keep you know what? Let's lock down again. There's people out there that are of the mind that that's what we need to do is just lock everything down for a couple of weeks and we'll go back to COVID zero.
Yeah, but the burn unit said it's not good.
It's not
John
good.
Hopkins,
John
guys got
Hopkins already
burned.
said not good. 6:22 in the morning. But the story we didn't get a chance to talk about too much yesterday. I had to do with the Festpac Village over at in the Chamorro Village in the back. Used to be a pretty good parking lot. A lot of people were able to park their cars there and
Paseo Suites.
Go for the homeless. And now they want to build. They want to enclose them now. Because we haven't wasted enough money on those things, and now they want to waste more. They're gonna close them, and I don't know, get a spot for air conditioning or something like that, water and power, and they're gonna little stores. Does
that mean they're going to start opening up again? Because they've got stores that are shuttered up.
Yeah,
See,
that's the thing is there's already stores there at Chamorro Village that are empty.
I've been there recently and walked through, and it was just so
nothing going on.
Everything is closed. There's maybe a handful of actual stores that are open.
Jamaican
and when
Grill.
I say a handful, probably 3.
Yeah. Jamaican Grill. I think Donna Hope's Bloss's place, the art store that might still be open, and not a whole lot else. You know what? Here's the thing, guys. Let's get it all open again. Let's go back to doing Wednesday night markets. And then we'll see if there's anything that we need to do with that. Their idea is to enclose them, so they not all of them either is to make them less accessible to the homeless people. Well, that's a whole other problem that we need to solve. And I think putting concrete walls up on the Festpac Hilton there isn't going to make all that much difference in the world. Anyway, 6:23 in the morning. Speaking of people who make a difference in our lives.
Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You want to be where you can see our troubles are all the same. You want to be where everybody knows your name. You want to go where people know people are all the same. You want to go where everybody knows your name.
Yay! It's the Thursday start of the program, and everybody knows everybody's name. So who comes in at number 1 today? You ready for this? Another surprise. Joe Bumba. Hey, I'm a Joe. JB St. Nicholas rounding out number 2. Looks like Dale Audette at number 3. San Francisco residents are asked to spare what? Let me see if I can see this. To spare are asked to spare a room to the homeless, and they will be compensated by the city.
Oh, nice.
How about that?
Syringes too?
Yeah. Well, I don't. So the president of the United States is another story that we just started off when we were getting started yesterday. So I didn't have a whole lot on it. But the internet seems to be going wild with news now that the president of the United States is handing people meth pipes.
Yeah, bulbous pipes.
But glass pipes with a bulbous end on them.
Yes.
I don't. And I'm still trying to figure out the theory and the thinking behind that. It may take me a little bit of time to understand it, but now everybody's saying, look, you got to take a look at whatever bill you've got, and this is good advice for our political brain trust here on Guam. Is you need to take a look at your policy or your measures or your bills, and if it looks like a headline from the Onion. Stop right there. Rethink whatever it is that you're doing. And I think that's spectacular advice. Dan Rosal online. Kenneth Polino. I see Nick Perlowski hanging out. Jerome McDonald. 88 degrees in Orange County. Jacket is off, and the winter is over. Jacket off, pants on, though. Can we just... Jerome... simple instructions to live your life. Jason Dinkle is online. Sarita Garin, Longhorn used to be a snow winterland world. Yeah, I think that's the area we're talking about, sweetheart. Ski resort called Boreal on 80 West Torino that opens early, and they make fake snow. That's Colin Clark checking in. Get Black Ice Carolyn Long, Oliver Malakis, and Carl Meyer talking about they do all these days since we have not had rain or snow since December, according to Carl Brennan. Fausto online. Rudy Rudolfo, the original Burger King, and again, the deal that we're touting here these days is the great tasting Double Whopper Juniors over at BK. More on that later on. Sabine Chargaloff saying, "No, stop the madness." You realize. Sabine, you can use that virtually every day when we start talking about news and headlines and what do we got on the front page of today's Guam Daily Post? Guam pursuing a 99-year lease for a medical complex. It's just going. Is this going to be? This hospital is moving along like the war in the Ukraine, right? I've yet to find anybody that is just wild about the idea of building a hospital facility out on Fidian or really anywhere else. But here we are. We just keep moving forward. 99-year lease on it. These are the same people that made it so that we are now renting property on Teedson that we owned outright because the federal government gave it back to us. You remember that? What a brilliant idea.
I remember.
Why don't we just pay for all of this land again that the federal government just gave back to us? Brilliant thinking from the political minds that we've got here on Guam. Francisco Maglotnia is there. Buenas and half a day to Scott K. Armstrong. Sarita says, even if they enclose them, what's the point of visiting? It just isn't worth it. Robert Ludi watching the program. Mike Laguatnia, half a day from Muharraq in the Kingdom of Bahrain. Wow. We had listenership. It was true what Bob Klitsky says. We have international listenership. Grace Arrueja Kipsy watching the program. Got Mike Grace Blotz. What's good, Ironwood? I like the way you put that. Josh Desiree Lasonko watching the program. Cody James, our favorite air traffic controller. A little bit busier these days with Cope
planes.
North. Yeah. Well, I mean, noisier planes.
Oh, yeah, you're
to be
right.
sure. But still in all, love the Sound of Freedom. Love the daily air shows that we're getting. And if anything, maybe it's helping keep Cody James from just falling down dead from complete and total boredom.
Stay up, bro.
Hey, there's the green plane. The green plane is coming in, and there's the United plane that's coming in. Okay, we're done for the day. Maybe and not even the FedEx. We were talking with Mike Benito about that, and the FedEx and those delivery planes aren't making into town these days. Anyway, it says, I'm sorry to whomever's vehicle that was. I just sat down at Tenden Inda. I have a rental SUV, and I got super confused. What happened? You sat down in somebody else's car?
Oh, yeah, I've done that, Ray.
I've done it too. I know it's not like I've owned the most unique cars in my life, and I can't tell you the number of times I've walked up to a truck that looks just like mine. Yeah. You put your hand in the thing, and
it's not opening.
The door's not opening. What's going on? It's supposed to be. Maybe I got to change the battery in my little key fob. I don't know what the heck is going on here. MJ Borja is watching the program. So is Manny Tenorio, Bill Wyndham, Amy Tatau Castro is watching the program. I see Vince Mesa, Selma Hilda Guerrero Blas, off of Dennis Larson, the B-Man, is online. There's the name I was looking for. Former Governor Carl T.C. Gutierrez online. And we'll just, I think I'm just going to always refer to him as acting Governor Gutierrez. Just because I know it pisses people off over at Adloop. Wait a second, he can't be the acting governor. That's Josh's job when Lou is out of town. Who's on the phone already?
Oh, it's the congressman.
No way.
Yeah, just, giving us a call.
All right. We'll dispense with all the other formalities of the program. But I do want to give Congressman Mike St. Nicholas an opportunity for victory lap here. And it looks like finally I might be able to have somebody come by and take care of the cabinets and the tile in the kitchen, thanks to you and your office. Buenas and Avadega, Congressman St. Nick.
Hi, Ray. Yeah, oh my gosh, this whole H-2B thing, I'm just so glad we finally got everything squared away. We did the NDA amendment last year, and of course, you change the law, then the policies need to follow, and that took a little while. But the agencies were really great. We worked with them very closely. At one point, I had like 12 different subject matter experts on one single call, really listening in on what our intentions were with the law change, what our problems were back home. And then they circled back and they hooked up with our Guam folks, and they're really able to nail down a process that I think is going to really work out. So we're so happy that policy update is done. I'm looking forward now to our contractors really just taking full advantage of it, and getting us the labor that we need to start getting things done around here, and preferably at a lower price point.
Oh, I do. Hopefully, the cost of everything, was it $250 now for construction on a square foot here on Guam? Arguably, a lot of that is the manpower costs that are associated with. Now, if you can do something about getting the materials out here as cheap as possible, and maybe I'll just put this in your head. Before you run for governor, can we do something about the Jones Act?
I don't know. Maybe you have to do 2 left turns right there.
Sorry about that, Brett. Sorry about that. It just it's in my head, and you managed to get things done in Washington D.C. So I figured I might as well ask for this while I'm thinking about it. But yeah, so the H-2B deal, and I'll get with Dave Del Solo a little bit later on to find out what the nuts and bolts are going to be and what he has seen now coming out of Washington D.C. by way of rules, but maybe a little bit of a groundwork on that. What is it that contractors are going to need to know? What is it that just people doing remodels on their house need to know?
Well, I mean, just wanting to touch on that Jones Act question real quick. We did try and get a window in on the Competes Act that was recently entertained up here on the Hill. We just, the politics is just so thick, Ray. You know how we have such a slim majority in the Senate as it is. We already got our research done and kind of got confirmation that certain key Democrat senators would not in any way support any kind of movement that would relax or exempt or cause not to apply the Jones Act anywhere. So there's some hardliners, and right now the political environment is just not ripe for us to be able to.
Is there any way that you could put together? I mean, there's got to be some kind of caucus that you could put together that would include us, CNMI, other territories, Puerto Rico, Hawaii, Alaska. I mean, we're getting hit here with inflation. Haven't seen the consumer price index numbers. They're anticipating those to come out for January, another 7% on top of everything else. I mean, and it would be nice if Washington, D.C. was looking out for ways to lessen the impact of inflation out here in the fringes of democracy.
Yeah, no, I'm totally with you. And believe me, we've circled those bases with, those parties that would be interested in some kind of a coalition approach on the Jones Act. And they very much would be. The only issue for me is, I mean, we can do it, but it would just be very symbolic. The political outcomes would not be successful, and so at this time, those winds can shift. People's dispositions can change maybe, but and definitely certain people sitting in certain seats can shift as well. And when those things happen, there may be windows, and so we'll just continue to monitor as those develop. But yeah, no, we definitely are. Coordinating as closely as we can with whatever allies we can on trying to find an avenue for that.
Have you considered having the Guard drop off cookies?
Well, it works, man. We just passed another bill here today. HR 3539, to name the Hagatne Post Office after the Honorable Atanasio Caetano Perez, who was the first postmaster for Guam. And so, we had a 417-1 vote on that to include some key members that we did deliver cookies to our attendees. So it's working.
Yeah, cookie diplomacy out in Washington, D.C. might work. Okay, now circling back to the H-2 issue and what looks like and feels like an opening that we have here, what's going to be required? I mean, if I call the contractors and say, I need the retaining wall in the back taken care of, they can now go someplace and start lining up hires out of I'm presuming the Philippines, and then what? Documenting need and documenting the fact that my particular project, whether it's a retaining wall or a hotel, is being impacted by the military buildup?
To an extent. First and foremost, if it's something housing related, like if it's to build a home or to address livable conditions, I think that those are going to sail through fairly easily when contractors want to get labor to meet those particular needs. If it's going to be some kind of not necessarily a living condition item, but, like a retaining wall or something to that effect. What will need to happen is Department of Labor with this new policy is now empowered to officially certify the need, and then they'll go through a process of explaining why that need exists. And basically what they have to do is they'll have to demonstrate that the military buildup and the current worker availability environment is so impacted that the ability to procure labor locally for that particular project is just not available or not reasonably available. And so they have a process to be able to do that. And I'm fairly confident that, especially stuff that has to do with work around the house, we should be able to get those things through. I think where we may still find hiccups if there's some like super large commercial project that really is just completely outside of the scope of the military relocation and has nothing to do with addressing housing needs. Those things may still have hurdles to climb, but at the very least, there's now a process for that to be weighed and considered carefully.
Now, is our attestation going to be sufficient, or will there be checks and balances in Washington D.C.? Will there be somebody from Homeland Security or wherever that will be investigating and ensuring that any paperwork that comes out of our Department of Labor meets up with what the facts are on the ground?
Yes, that is how the process will be. Prior to this policy change, if DOL, if Guam Department of Labor, submitted any kind of attestation to that effect, it would really just not even be regarded into consideration. So now it's officially a part of the process where the reviewers on the federal side need to weigh the perspective of Department of Labor and the context that they're able to put the situation in when they are putting the application through.
All right, obviously still very early in the process. We got people on the ground here that we'll try to hook up with a little bit later on, 6:38. But the more important question, and you know how we are around here, it's smart-ass comments and political gossip. And my phone started ringing the other day, and an individual who's got his ear close enough to the ground that I can trust what he's hearing says that it's going to be Mike Sinicolas and Frank Uggan in the race in less than 200 days for Adelup.
Ray, is that your way of trying to just pass me off, and because you don't want to say no directly to me?
What? Well, no. You know what? I'd hurt the ticket, and I think everybody that knows me knows that I'd hurt the ticket in numerous, incalculable numbers of ways. Somebody like Frank might be a better pick for you. I mean, he's got a lot of experience running for lieutenant governor already, and he didn't do so bad in the write-in election a couple of years ago against Lulian Guerrero and others. So it is not a name that is out there, from the wild. That kind of makes a little bit of sense. What are you thinking about here, and what other names are you interested in for lieutenant governor? I ask you this because it's a foregone conclusion that you're running for governor.
If you don't want to run with me, Ray, and you don't want to tell me directly, you can tell Joe, and Joe will tell me.
Joe will tell you. All right. No, I'll tell you right now. I'd rather try to run that part of the operation from here behind this microphone when you get elected. So I think there might be some political names out there that will do better. But I'm not going to ask you for the down and dirty announcement. That will come in its own time. But well, no, maybe I will ask for the announcement. Can you make the announcement right now that you're running for governor?
There's items that we still have to close out here. I can't make any announcements at this time.
Okay, but apparently Jimmy Moylan was overheard at a dinner thing recently talking about how he is going to be running for Congress for sure. Which, in my mind, is the deal here. Mikey runs for governor, then you make a hole, a defilé, an opening, and let Jimmy Craig fill that.
Jimmy Craig, is that like a nickname?
That's his real middle name, Jimmy Craig Moylan.
Oh, okay.
That didn't come up when you guys were eating dinner the other night with that picture that's all over Facebook?
Oh my gosh, he's gonna give me a dirty look next time.
Well, I'm clearly not going to get the answer that I'm looking for. I'm just going to go ahead.
But you are getting confirmation that there are things to close out and that an announcement is
forthcoming. Right.
Silence.
You still there?
That's why Mana does the news, right?
That's it. Well, I don't know. I mean, have you asked her to be your running mate?
Oh my goodness.
I mean,
notwithstanding the fact that you are a Republican.
I say bad words.
Oh, it's bad. But you know what she would
I
make?
cuss more now that I work here.
She'd be effective muscle for you. She'd be effective muscle because everybody in my family's afraid of her. If she was the lieutenant governor, you could actually send her out. She could be more useful than the Island Beautification Task Force. She could actually get out there and execute policy for you. Just saying. Just saying. Well, listen, Mike, I appreciate your time as usual. I appreciate the word on the H2s, and if any work that can be done to do something about the Jones Act and from Washington D.C. finding ways to bring down the costs here on Guam, because you read the news yesterday. We still got $400 million in CARES Act money that hasn't been spent yet. Really? Is it ARP?
Oh man. Yeah, no, I saw that. I'm just like, what is that? I mean, how do we even justify that?
I mean, and we've had it for how long?
Yeah, no, it's over a year at this point, pretty much.
Well, isn't there a sunset on that? It's like if we don't get it all spent in a couple of years, then we got to send it back.
Yeah, the clock's actually ticking on that and all the other relief packages. In fact, I've already tasked my team. I said, you know what, I want a timeline here because, there's not enough transparency coming out of the administration, and if we have to be the ones to kind of, ring the warning bell that, hey, dinner's been served for quite a while already, and it's getting pretty cold out there. We're gonna do that. So, yeah, no, there's definitely timelines on these things, and it's unfortunate because timeline or not, our people and our businesses and our economy and our climate right there is just it's not in a place where we can say, hey, we only spent 20% and be okay with that. As a matter of fact, I saw something going around on social media about the governor's people saying that everyone's forgetting what's already been done and they need to kind of be grateful or something to that effect. And I'm like, wow, this is just.
I haven't seen anything like that. I mean, they're absolutely ludicrous. I consider Les a friend, and I like what he's doing over at BBMR. He does a very, very good job of holding the money as close to his chest as possible. But I think some of the things that he is looking at in the community and talking about how the line at the coffee shop is long, so the economy must be good. I don't know. There's still thousands and thousands of people that are unemployed and underemployed here on Guam. And we've got to find more effective and more efficient ways to get that money into the hands of the private sector so that they can put more people to work, even if it is artificially supported. 6:44 in the morning. There's a whole lot to that conversation, but I would suggest that you write it all down and use it in the platform when you run for governor. It's crime, inflation, and the response to COVID-19 that I think are the most important platforms.
Those are definitely banner issues. Absolutely.
All right, Miguel, I'll talk to you pretty soon. I appreciate your time as usual, and we'll get together when you come back, and I'll come up with a much better excuse of why I cannot run as your lieutenant governor.
Okay, tell Mom to start preparing her speech.
That turned on me real quick. It was like I opened my mouth and it just kind of came right back at me.
Yeah, sorry about that. 6:44 in the morning. I got to let her take care of some headlines. I'll talk to you soon, Mikey.
Awesome, guys. Take care.
Congressman Mike St. Nicholas
on
the point here this morning. No,
Mikey.
we're close like that.
Yeah, Congressman Mikey.
Yeah. Well, but not as close as Joseph and the congressman. Wait, no, I've got it. I think you sent it to me, right, Joe? You send me the recording.
Oh.
Yeah. All right. So wait.
That's incriminating.
No. Yeah, it's all I deleted it. Oh,
too late now because I got a copy of it, and so here. So Real Joe sends Mike a WhatsApp that says, I miss the sound of your voice, and so Mikey sends this in response.
Hello, Joe.
Well played, Congressman. Well played.
We're using that in the commercials. It's 6:45. Montesquieu Vitaran with a look at news and headlines. Avamana, what happened?
Well, the governor is keeping her eye on the old Eagles field for her new hospital and will continue negotiations with Joint Region for a 99-year lease. The property in Manilao, she says, is still listed as a military asset, and she wants to build her medical complex there. Meanwhile, Guam Congressman Mike San Nicolas says great news for Guam as the USCIS has extended the H-2B visa exemptions, and Guam and the CNMI can apply for labor for housing projects. It's been determined that housing is actually a need as part of the military buildup. The death of a man found at a Jigo ranch has been classified as a homicide now that an autopsy has been completed. Pat Sakai said to have been stabbed multiple times and suffered from blunt force trauma. Also, in the Guam Daily Post, an autopsy was completed on an individual who was found dead at a trash fire in Chalanpago. Investigators suspect foul play, but details of the autopsy were not released. And from the JIC, 4 new COVID-related deaths reported, along with 52 people admitted to the hospital with COVID-19, and there are another 594 cases out of 1,500 people who were tested day before yesterday. Those are your top stories here on The Point.
647, so 70,000 kits either here or on the way, and that's on top of the made-in-China kits that we're getting. I think the glass pipes with the bulbous ends for all the crack guys, those are made in China as well,
those are
right?
made in the USA.
Not what I'm hearing. Everything is coming out of China these days, except the Olympics that nobody is apparently watching. It's 6:47 in the morning. More of this stuff on the way.
What's a better way to celebrate Valentine's Day than celebrating it at Mezcla with their 3-course meal? Starting off your meal with a salad appetizer, followed by a main entree of your choice, and of course, to top it all off, to make Valentine's as sweet as the day itself, a melting lava cake with vanilla ice cream and caramel sauce. So what are you waiting for? Call them at 671-649-2652 or visit mezclaguam.com for reservations. See you there.
Knowledge is power. In just 60 seconds, the Evil 360 provides you a unique experience and a detailed report of your body composition for you to take action to improve your health. The Evil 360, turning information into inspiration to live a balanced lifestyle. Evil 360 is exclusively at the Take Care Wellness Center. Go to Simply Book Me or call 671-646-6956 extension 7260 for more information and to schedule an appointment with a member of the Take Care Wellness team.
Hafaday, this is Congressman San Nicolas. While local COVID-19 testing has unfortunately become less available lately, there are 4 free at-home federally available COVID tests that you can have to test yourselves and your families as needed. Please contact your congressional office at 671-475-6453 or at michael.sannicolas@mail.house.gov to find out how we can help you access those tests.
This ad was paid for with official funds from the Office of Congressman Michael F.Q. San Nicolas.
Already? Time to start thinking about traffic? All right, I get the right now traffic. That's what we call it because we've got everything crowdsourced here. We can actually see in real time what's happening with traffic here on Guam. Right now, a little bit of traffic up at Anderson Air Force Base, but most of the rest of Marine Corps Drive looks like it's smooth going all the way through Dededo and Upper Tumon. Might see a little bit of traffic up around Ukadu. Ukadu, up in that part of town. A little bit of traffic on 8, 10, and 16, but not a whole lot. 8 is running fairly clear in the downtown Agutnia area. Route 4 is doing all right, although you might want to expect delays later on this morning when the contractors get out there because they're apparently only doing the stripes 25 feet at a time. Is that what I'm hearing? Somebody was asking how much extra are we paying these guys for a hazard pay to be out there and doing that striping on Guam's roadways here. And I did. Yesterday I went to Subway for lunch, and then on the way down back to the house, I took Marine Corps Drive, and that new blacktop that they've got up there between ITC building and the Onigiri 7, not bad at all. And it's on both sides of the street, right? Because it southbound looked like it was all 3 lanes on the southbound side, and when I looked over on the other side, it looked like there was some, a ribbon of shiny new blacktop on that side with those little index card lane dividers that they've got. So it looks like
those are not the forever ones.
There's no such thing as a forever lane marker or stripe here on Guam. They put them down, and 6 months later they go away. It's 6:50 in the morning. There's your right now traffic on the point.
Do you or a loved one have loss of use of a hand or hands from an injury, stroke, birth defect, or pain? Then reach out to a specialist in upper extremity and hand surgery care by contacting Dr. Jerome Landstrom board-certified reconstructive hand surgeon and microsurgeon. 671-646-HAND or visit his website at www.pacifichandsurgery.com.
Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, what's for breakfast at KFC under $3.95, you ask? What's for breakfast at KFC that's different than the other guys, you ask? KFC's chicken wrap, sausage wrap, the Colonel's chicken congee, chicken fried steak, sausage biscuit and gravy, and biscuit sandwiches made with KFC's original fluffy biscuits. All for under $3.95 and all only at KFC. Plus, with waffles and the Colonel's chicken fried rice, we've got something for everyone.
So visit KFC for breakfast today. It's finger licking good.
Hey, those guys over at Nissan want your used car. They're I mean, they say we used to always talk about the Nissan Ninja, and they could use some inventory. So if you've got a second or third car in the house and you're not using it because, I don't know, the kid's in college or she left you, whatever it is, the reason that you need to get rid of that car, guys over at Nissan will pay cash for your used car. No purchase necessary. Used car values higher than ever before, and they're looking for everything. It does not need to be a Nissan. They just need some new used cars for the deal. Get in there, get the appraisal done as quick as you can. And if you're in the market for a used car, they got plenty of those as well at NissanGuam.com.
Getting you back to the talk faster. It's the Ray Gibson Show.
6:52 in the morning. It's happening. There's a tidal wave around the nation of cities and states that are saying "basta," or as we say here in the program, "stumby," when it comes to mask mandates. New York, the governor there, a lady, Kathy Hochul, has lifted the statewide mask mandate. Apparently some kind of legal battle going on that is in my blind spot. I'm not paying any attention to it. But it is moving, and it is moving fast. That was the big news in Fox News last hour. We'll see if they reprise that and other stories about different places that seem to be coming to their senses, that are awakening from a 2-year hypnosis of COVID-19 and the reactions that don't make sense, like putting masks on kids. But everybody can justify everything. Is the deal? I'm not holding any hope. Yesterday, I wasn't watching it, but apparently the governor went onto the social media, and at some point somebody had the temerity to ask her the question about mandates on Guam, and she said, "Well, we're going to stick with them because I don't know." And I don't know, because get a lot of these guys either don't get a follow-up question or don't ask follow-up questions like okay fine. Maybe her response was such that a follow-up wasn't advisable with all of that. I don't know. I didn't even know it was happening, and they don't bother telling me. But anyway, it's happening. And to the degree that it happens fast, I don't know. There's still conversations, and I thought that we had already talked about the results of an online poll at the Guam Daily Post, but it's worth looking at again, where they're asking people. Yes, man, I licked my hand when I picked up the newspaper. Given Guam's high daily case counts, how confident are you in the current state of COVID-19 restrictions? Your choices this morning. Number 1, we need another lockdown. And there will be people that have been so frightened by the fear porn of the last 2 years that is going to be their go-to answer. Lock it down. No more airplanes flying in. No more boats sailing in with any of that stuff. We need to hunker down. And to folks like you, let me just make this clear. Go ahead and lock yourself in. It's okay with me. I mean, if you are that freaked out about the state of COVID-19 and the idea that it's Russian roulette every time that you walk out the door, by all means, lock yourself down. Call the mayor, tell him what you're up to, so we can, swing by, and we can have those little, the health check visits by the police and public health.
Just barricade yourself in there.
But choice B, restrictions should be increased. C, restrictions are fine the way they are. D, restrictions should be relaxed. And E, this is my answer, restrictions don't matter. They just don't matter. We got 2 years into this. Do we have any indication at all that any of the restrictions, any of the mandates that we have pursued have saved anybody's life? No. Ample evidence, though, as to what has happened to our economy. Ample evidence as to what's happening with the kids in school. Even Ron McNinch in his Joe Rogan Saves America.
Oh, I love that
That's
title.
the name of his column today in the Guam Daily Post.
Caught my eye.
As I have said in this column before, we have likely reached a point on Guam where we need to wrap up COVID-19. It's not a wild thought. It's not an out there concept. We are about done with all of this stuff, and let's get moving. They're going to say, but look at the numbers of people in the hospital. What are we up to, Mana? 40 something.
No, 52.
52. All right, 52. Did you check how many of those, of the 52, how many of them are vaccinated souls?
I did not check.
I did. 30 of them, sir. 30 some odd are, vaccinated, and the other 20 are unvaccinated. That's how good that those shots are working out for people. You just got to. Can you imagine being in the emergency room where they're in there, and here comes somebody, a medical professional, saying, tell you what, you've got COVID-19. And there's people, how? I got the shots. I even got the booster. How is it possible that I got COVID? You know how you got COVID-19? From going out and eating dinner inside of a restaurant with other people that are of the opinion that because they got the shots that they're not going to get COVID-19 and can't transmit COVID-19. I will ask the question. I got to send a note to the people over at the Guam Daily Post. Are you guys completely out of the editorial business? There has not been in the Guam Daily Post a local, editorial contribution it's got to be going on 4 weeks now or something like that.
It's the Blue Star thing, Ray.
You know what? They just got enough. We've got enough. We kick PDN's ass so many times. We're giving them a break. We're giving them some time to be the only editorial voice in there, and maybe they'll be able to get into it. Anyway, 6:57 and change. Items on the table of contents that are worth looking at, and let me take you to the theme for today's program. Never mind Wordle. Now, I'm not going to say that I'm completely changed when it comes to Wordle. I will point out yesterday that it took me 6 tries to get my Wordle word, and today, maybe because of my strategy and my starting words, they have not been useful for me lately. And as a result of that, I got my Wordle in 4. Now, some of you are going, hey, that's still pretty good. Wordle in 4, does it? But you know what? No. We're playing against other. I want to say that Jose Martinez, Wordle in 2. Wordle in 2, right?
Oh,
How do you do something like that? 650 cheat. That's how you do it. You go online and you find out what the Wordle is for today. Here's my start word. I got 1 letter correct in the thing, but my second guess, I got it all right. I'm not saying that Jose cheats. There's, you've done good, Jose. I got to tell you. So I'm gonna, you know what? Donna helped him.
Let's go, Jose.
6:59 and change. But pickleball is the new hotness. There's a story in one of the newspapers this morning, and in fact, Ronnie Connolly's going to be in here a little bit later on to number 1, tell me what pickleball is, and number 2, there's a tournament coming up this weekend, so you'll have a chance to go out there and see pickleball in action. And they say it's one of these kind of a hybrid sports where they take some of the best things from all of the other sports and combine them. It's a net game, and so they've combined them, and now we've got actual pickleball going on here on Guam. It might be the most important time that we're going to be spending on the radio here this morning. So I don't want you to miss it. It'll be about 9 o'clock this morning. Stand by now. Fox News Live is coming up on the other side of that. Montesilva Tyrone with a look at what's happening on news and of a local sort. Jerry Roberts has got the extra point. Now, I did take a look at West Texas and Tapas. They are retreating, not very quickly, but they are retreating. Numbers are back down by about $1 for each of them. More on that a little bit later on. Right now, it's time for Fox News. KUSG, getting you This is the Point.
It's the beginning of a new era. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. At least that's how President Biden sees the effort to build a clean energy future.
We're seeing incredible enthusiasm and support for the effort, not just from you all, but around the country. I mean, people are, I guess, when things got really bad and made people realize, my Lord, this is real. This is real, this climate change.
At a roundtable event with electric utility CEOs highlighting the vehicle charging stations planned in upcoming infrastructure projects. But the White House is facing questions on whether an energy grid with more solar and wind sources can handle more electric demand. Spokeswoman Jen Psaki says they're working to address the issue from many fronts. COVID mandates are ending in more states, prompting more questions at the weekly COVID briefing.
While the White House COVID response team spent their time highlighting data on booster effectiveness against COVID, when it came time for questions, the focus was on masks as states begin to lift mask mandates. CDC Director Rochelle Walensky said they're preparing guidance, but
our hospitalizations are still high. Our death rates are still high. So as we work towards that and as we are encouraged by the current trends, we are not there yet.
New Jersey, Delaware, Connecticut, and Oregon are lifting mask mandates in coming weeks, including in schools. California is lifting an indoor mask mandate next week for those who are vaccinated, and New York's governor has lifted an indoor mask mandate as well, though California and New York's shift does not apply to schools.
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. Illinois' governor also keeping masks in schools, but not most other indoor places, while the Massachusetts governor will let schools ditch masks later this month. A Maryland man draped in a Confederate flag when he stormed the U.S. Capitol pleads guilty to joining the attack last January. Matthew Ryan Miller admitting he sprayed a fire extinguisher at law enforcement officers, pleading guilty to felony charges of obstruction and assaulting, resisting, or impeding police officers. America is listening to Fox News.
Attention! Lolita Kamet is now with Hoffaday Realty. She'll always be that hardworking and passionate real estate professional who is committed to helping you make a difference in your life and helping you achieve the American dream of home ownership. She also specializes in commercial leasing, land sales, local residential sales leasing, military and corporate relocation. So for all your real estate needs, call Lolita Kamet now with Hoffaday Realty at 688-6743. That's 688-6743.
Choosing health insurance for my family is difficult. I need to know our health insurance will protect us now and in the future. Take Care members have access to the island's largest offering of free fitness classes and health education programs, and a high-quality credentialed network of on- and off-island healthcare providers, including the convenient one-stop FHP Health Center and urgent care. My family choose Take Care. Your family should also consider choosing Take Care. Call 671-647-3526 for more information. Take Care, our island, your health plan.
More American troops are making moves in Europe as tensions continue with Russia over Ukraine.
3,000 U.S. troops ordered by President Biden to Poland and Romania will be needed to evacuate Americans from here in Ukraine should the Russians invade. Here's the commander of the 2nd Cavalry Regiment, Colonel Joe Ewers.
The focus of this particular mission, of course, is to reinforce the NATO alliance.
U.S. officials expect up to 5 million refugees if Russia invades. There are an estimated 30,000 Americans in Ukraine. Only 7,000 have registered with the embassy. More Russian warships have recently arrived in the Black Sea. It could be another invasion force or a decoy. Russia announced it will begin missile exercises at sea in the coming days, potentially blocking ports in Ukraine as a result.
Fox's Lucas Tomlinson in Kyiv. Former President Trump says Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell does not speak for the Republican Party. This a day after McConnell criticized the Republican National Committee for censuring 2 House Republicans who are on the committee probing the Capitol riot. McConnell argues it's not the party's job to police the views of lawmakers. Later this month, a fan favorite returns to McDonald's. The Shamrock Shake.
It'll be joined by the Oreo Shamrock McFlurry, which first debuted in February of 2020 in honor of the Shake's 50th anniversary. The Shamrock Shake was created in 1967 by Hal Rosen, a Connecticut McDonald's owner and operator who made the seasonal dessert for St. Patrick's Day. It made its debut in select locations across the country in 1970. Over the years, the burger chain has brought back the original creation as well as variations. The light green shake is made of vanilla soft serve ice cream along with Shamrock Shake syrup and finished with a whipped topping.
Fox's Hillary Barsky. Wall Street rallies, the Dow up 305 at the close, the S&P up more than 1%, the NASDAQ more than 2%. Elisa Brady, Fox News.
Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959, and they will continue to be there for you in the years to come. Get a personal loan for that summer vacation or to pay off those long overdue bills. Family Finance has got you covered. Apply for a personal loan from $1,000 up to $3,900 by calling Family Finance in Hagåtña, now at the old Nambo Insurance Building at 475-4545, Upper Tumon 647-5626, or in Dededo 633-4473. Family Finance, here to serve you.
Check out the newest hydro and garden center to hit Guam, Crop King Hydro. We have a huge selection of plant nutrients, soils, hydroponic mediums, organic pest control pumps, plant support, tools, and so much more. Call 635-4769. 635-GROW. Open Monday through Saturday, 10 to 6 at the Dededo Satina Mall, right across from Payless and Paradise Fitness. For whatever you grow, think Crop King Hydro. Crop King Hydro.
Subway keeps the Eat Fresh Refresh subs rolling in with a fresh take on timeless classics. Try the honey mustard rotisserie style chicken. It's the new Subway rotisserie style chicken with a flavor upgrade, mizzled with honey mustard on hearty multigrain bread and topped with fresh hand-sliced veggies. Craving some heat? The Baja Turkey Avocado hits all the hot notes. Oven roasted turkey stacked high on hearty multigrain smeared with smashed avocado and drizzled with the piquant chipotle sauce. Tuck into new subs to savor at Subway. Eat fresh.
Off a day at 7:06, I'm Mana Silva Tyron with a look at your local news on the point. The death of a man found at a Jigo ranch this month has now been classified a homicide following an autopsy that was completed over the weekend. Patrick Sakai said to have been stabbed multiple times and suffered blunt force trauma. The Guam Daily Post reports a forensic pathologist from Hawaii completed the autopsy. The 63-year-old man was found dead at a ranch. No arrests have been made. Investigators have also not confirmed if they have any potential suspects. Meanwhile, police also continue their investigation into the death of another individual whose body was discovered in a trash fire in Chalampago. The unidentified man's body was found on January 29th. Investigators do suspect foul play. An autopsy was also completed. However, police have not given any details regarding that autopsy's results. From the JIC this morning, there were 4 new COVID-related fatalities that were reported, bringing the island's total now to 303. The deaths included a 68-year-old woman, an 83-year-old man, an 81-year-old man, and an 89-year-old woman. 3 of 4 were vaccinated. All did also have underlying health conditions. The number of hospitalizations also up. Now it's 52 people admitted with COVID-19, 6 people in intensive care. And from the test results, there are 594 new cases out of 1,547 people who were tested the day before yesterday. Meanwhile, Public Health did receive another 8,000 doses of the COVID test kits packages, but they continue to ration the supply, even though they expect another 70,000 kits to arrive soon. The governor yesterday in a video conference said that the tests are being prioritized for those with COVID symptoms and who are considered high risk. The governor also said that once the government determines a comfortable level with the amount of available test supplies, the prioritization policy could be changed. The governor, however, says that she's optimistic that Guam is probably in the last stages of the pandemic. However, the pandemic restrictions that she has in place currently will remain in place until she says otherwise. We'll have more news right after this.
Top End Pest Control is who you call for all your pest control needs. Got a problem with roaches, ants, spiders, rodents, fleas, ticks, termites? No problem. They do it all. Top End Pest Control is a service-disabled, veteran-owned small business and HubZone certified. Serving Guam since 2012. Call them today for a quote, 487-5657, or email topendpest@gmail.com. Check them out on Facebook at Top End Pest Control and give them a like. Top End Pest Control for all your pest control needs.
Local companies in Guam and the CNMI can apply for foreign workers for civilian housing development projects under new exemptions adopted by the USCIS. It's seen in the NDAA. The Post reports the policy alert issued by the USCIS extends the H-2B visa exemptions to petitioners whose contracts or subcontracts are supporting the military realignment. Congressman Mike Nicholas says the policy change includes the need for more housing as an eligible H-2B need, acknowledging that adverse impacts on available labor as a result of the military buildup and creates a process for the U.S. Department of Labor to have a greater role in the H-2B approval consideration, all of which will help us get more workers to bring down the cost of housing on Guam and boost our civilian construction industry. Meanwhile, the governor keeping her eye on the Eagle Field in Manila for the construction of her new hospital, and says that she will be continuing negotiations with the military for a 99-year lease for from the Department of the Navy. The governor has been looking at the Eagles field for the medical complex, as an adjacent site is also being surveyed for a possible military radar communication station. And the Department of Education is exploring every option to ensure students are caught up with their lessons, and have urged parents to enroll your kids to Escuela en Puengi, especially for those who need to make up credits. Registration, they say, ends on February 23rd, and classes are set to start on February 28th. And those are your top stories here on The Point. Here's Ray with your weather.
Yeah, that's right. 10 after 7 o'clock in the morning, and some parents going, wait a second, my kids are still in school? This has been hanging out with me for the last 2 years. All right, I suppose maybe we want to start thinking about getting them the credits they need in order to graduate. I'm not really all that concerned about summer school and things like that. I think it's going to be interesting what happens between the Ed Board and the legislature. But this service learning thing, which I've never, ever been a fan of, you know what? Not only ask for a waiver, DOE, ask for a permanent waiver. I treat that, I refer to that as kind of teenage slavery here, because they can't graduate unless they get this service learning credits from hanging out. Basically, unless they're doing something with the lady, the trash lady.
Yeah, Peggy Denny.
Unless they're doing stuff with Peggy Denny, chances are really, really good. And I've seen this before, where you've got these events and there's a bunch of teenagers sitting around looking at their phones all day, waiting for somebody to come by, sign a piece of paper that they can turn in that said that they did their service learning, which was, I sat around looking at TikTok videos all morning long. Mostly sunny in the day's forecast. Daytime highs about 86 degrees with a heat index. It'll feel like 90. Winds out of the east, northeast, 11 to 16 miles an hour. Gusting as high as 20 miles an hour. And some of you are going, well, you know what? I just kind of would rather the weather make up its mind. Please, can we just one kind of weather today? We're at that time of year where if you don't like the weather, wait 5 minutes. It'll change. There might be some rain here. Might be some sun peeking out from a lot of clouds. You're just going to have to pick your chances as best you can. And partly cloudy, overnight lows about 76 degrees. Mostly sunny in the forecast for tomorrow. Great way to usher in a weekend. Partly cloudy skies tomorrow night. There's a rip current warning, so be careful on the edges of the reef. And sunset tonight at 6:25. Hashtag tell the others. 7:12. There's news and weather together here on The Point.
BK's new Double Whopper Jr. Your Way meal is now available. The Double Whopper Jr. is made with 2 fire-grilled burger patties, creamy mayonnaise, fresh lettuce and tomato, crunchy pickles, ketchup, and freshly cut onions on a toasted sesame seed bun. Our New Way meal includes french fries, 4-piece chicken nuggets, and a refreshing Coca-Cola. Get your hands on the new Double Whopper Jr. Your Way meal at your favorite Burger King location. Please wear your mask and practice social distancing. BK Tumon Bay, Hagåtña, Micronesia Mall, and the airport. BK Your Way.
Did you know that 1 in 50 employees open a phishing email every day? Introducing Lookout, the leading mobile security solution that fully protects your company from all mobile threats. Get Lookout Mobile Security for free with any Docomo Pacific Business Unlimited mobile plan. Some conditions may apply. Learn more at business.docomopacific.com. Docomo Pacific Business. Work better together.
Portions of the program brought to you by APL, American President Lines. Global presence with a local home, also being brought to you by Cold Stone Creamery. Now, we spent a lot of time talking about the chocolate dip strawberry ice cream with red velvet cake, strawberry fluff, and the chocolate ganache. But take a look at today's Guam Daily Post, page number 3, where you will see not one, but a dozen opportunities to, a sweet Valentine's treat for your beloved Strawberry Passion. They've got a Midnight Delight. Well, aren't they all? Cookie dough delirium, coffee house crunch, cookies and creamery. There's a peanut butter playground, Butterfinger bonanza, chocolate chipper, mint chip. Emphasis on the mint is how that's supposed to be pronounced. Caramel nut nirvana, a cheesecake named Desire, and raspberry truffle temptation. Doesn't that all sound good? Yeah. So the difficulties of the choices now that you're going to have to make. You know what? I just get one for each of your girlfriends at Cold Stone Creamery, the ultimate ice cream experience.
It's the Ray Gibson Show. Morning talk that matters. Call now. 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
Can do, can do. 7:15 in the morning. Jerry Roberts coming up with the extra point before too much longer. 89.54 for a barrel of West Texas crude. That number is down from where it's been in the last couple of days. Over $90 for West Texas crude, but it looks like it might be drifting down slowly, but moving in the right direction. Tappas crude at $97.47, or I'm sorry, $97.40 off from the couple of record highs that it has been at for most of the week. Does that mean that they're going to hold off on any increases? Does that mean that prices of gas are going to hold steady at $5.19 a gallon?
Just walk around with your gas can, Ree.
So that's actually happening. Yeah. Thank you very much for the segue into the next story here. They're discovering quickly just how powerful truckers can be. Now, I've always had a lot of affection and admiration for guys in the trucking business. The fact that you can drive that vehicle. First of all, the significant skills that are required to move a vehicle that size on Guam's roadways. Outstanding work. The fact, though, and this is something that has baffled me all of my life. I don't know how I got to be 59 years old without knowing how to back a truck up with it's got the thing with the trailer on the back of it. And be able to fit him into some of these spots. I'm sorry, I have a hard time getting out of the gas station. I told you I went to Subway yesterday down the street, and I'm at the mobile gas station over there, and I'm grabbing my Subway chow, and somebody parked. I parked right in the front. Right in front of the Subway, and a car pulled in and was getting gas at the pump. Now, there's ample room there for me to be able to move my truck around to get out. It took me like 18 different stop, go. Felt like a new driver out there. But, if it was one of these truckers on Guam, they would have been able to do that in one move, right? Truckers in Ottawa now. And we start talking about just the authoritarian nature of our governments, and we always think about the government of Guam all my life, Gov Guam, whatever, and you got some crazy policies and stuff like that comes out. All of a sudden we got COVID-19, and it shows the true nature of our government. And I'm going to spend the next 200 days, making sure that you remember all of the authoritarian steps that this governor and this government has made during the COVID-19 times. So you got all these people that have taken their trucks up to Ottawa. The authoritarian government there has now told the police to arrest anybody that is giving fuel to the Freedom Convoy peaceful protest. Fuel ban in effect. It is now illegal for them to do that. But in a stark turn here, this of rebellion and open defiance on this fuel ban, I'm going to play for you a video from Ottawa. This is what it looks like there. And there are hundreds of people walking around the streets of Ottawa with gas cans. The theory is they can't arrest us all. Look at that.
I love that.
Look at that.
It's so American.
Yeah, it is. Well, I mean, I don't know. It used to be America, but it's the Canadians, it's the truckers and all of their supporters now that are showing what freedom and defiance of these authoritarian steps looks like. I think that's a great TikTok video. This one here is worth watching a couple of times. Good for them. Good for them. And you wonder where those kinds of folks are around here. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people that are scared of retribution, number one. And as I've said, I think there's just a lot of people that have been asleep this entire time. 7:18 in the morning, 888-8255, 888-TALK is a telephone number around these parts. Got to do some shouts. It's been a while since I've taken a look at the machine here. We got Tess Nuke online, Nate Horn. Interesting point that he's making. We were talking about the Festpac village, the Chamorro village, and they've decided apparently, I don't know where they're going to get the money for it. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. We got all kinds of people that are hurting from COVID-19, but we're going to spend more money on the Festpac Hilton that we've got down at Chamorro Village. They're going to enclose them now. Is the plan? Nate says so. Rather than work on solving the homeless problem, let's make it harder for them to get a roof over their heads. Okay, Colin Clark online. Leah Aloha Moylan Alston is there. Post Canteen with interesting news. Special additional Queen of Hearts drawing is going to take place on Valentine's Day after the Super Bowl. at the VFW. See the tickets, see the bartender about buying some tickets. John LaRue is there. Kimberly Hell Robarge watching the program. Matt Galendez, Alexa Marie. I got Joe Jerry online. Elizabeth Mendiola Kitsitsu. Leslie St. Nicholas is there. Jean Bahago, Elizabeth Mendiola Kitsitsu, and Alice Evangelista in the program. Lady D is online. Judy Shockley there. Carl Meyer, who says Matson will fight the repeal of the Jones Act just as they fight APL coming to Guam, bringing fair competition. Autos, fuel, and your Korean groceries still comes in on foreign flag vessels. Vivian Castro Leon, MP Ogo, Alfred Wayne combo is watching. So's Vince Mesa. That's guitar, Vince, right?
Yeah.
Okay, got that. Vince Borja is the soon-to-be senator. Unless we can convince Vince Mesa to run. Austin Harris is there. Rose Pacini, Luis Cabral, Brennan Fausto, Mike Grace Blas, Catalina Pinal Rios, Martin Mendoza, Buenos and half a day to KLB Guam, Randy Landis. What playing tonight into morning? Pickleball, not Wordle. More details on what exactly pickleball is later in the program. James Bondo is there. Gladys Benevente. There's Dennis Benzer saying good morning to Clarice. Nali Laurenti, my classmate online here, and many of my classmates lining up at least virtually maybe at Remy Cruz's funeral. I understand that if it's not happening today, what, tomorrow? It is today at 11?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow at 11 is where that's happening.
Tomorrow the 11th.
One of my favorite teachers in the whole wide world, Ronnie Dianaldo, is online. Ron Castro, our favorite artist, John Onadera. Bob Kelly saying hello from Saipan.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Aloha.
They're restricted. They've removed virtually all of the restrictions for people flying in, right?
Oh, nice.
So even unvaccinated people like myself, heathens,
What?
the dirty ones. Yeah, apparently you can go up there unvaccinated.
Saipan.
To Saipan, and they'll tell you that you should, isolate for 5 days.
Oh, I need to visit Governor Torres, man.
Isolated Olea Beach Bar, bro. That's where I'm doing that. Claire Carrera, Mark Ina, Wen Roe is there. Julia Santos, Joe Lynn Mansfield, Buenos and half a day to you. Sama Joy, Juan Norma Cruz, Donatus Somal, and Susan Topaznia Bajkusa is watching the program. Thomas Meyerhofer hanging out with us this morning. Flo Santos. Good morning, Army Lynn. Army Lynn's on. That's it. Even if we had adult supervision, there's no way to control us anymore. Joanne Fullerton is there. My bro Tom Tahazi, Opa Apple is watching the program from somewhere out there in the world. Roman Ramirez, Marvin Tunkamp, Joe Jose Tetpahagu, and Auntie Bennett Lohan Duenas. Kenny Williams is online. I see Francis Duffy, Chung Lee, Sandra Ray just saying good morning. Some of these have been hanging out on the list for a while. I just haven't had a chance to look at it. Bonnie Suba, Jean Fujikawa, Sepson, Simon Sanchez from the Consolidated Commission on Utilities hanging out with us as well. Hi, Lauren Michelle, Bertha Maza Cruz, Roman Paredo, Lou Mandiola. Hearing that the elders being vaccinated are dying after their vaccination, why aren't they recognizing that? Lou, I'm sorry, I don't have the numbers on breakthroughs that might be affecting some in our senior citizen population that just happen to be showing up at the hospital already. DOA. Lou Mendiola is there. Mike, Eva, St. Nicholas. Doris, our running pal, is online. Johnny Martinez, Gemma Bustamante on YouTube and Facebook here this morning, hanging out with some of the cool guys over there. Good point, racist. Sarah Lake. Service learning should be for those students that are genuinely interested in it, not pretend to play with the wrong motives. The idea behind this service learning is to get kids, involved and crazy about volunteering. But I think the practical application of it has become one of those things where it's just another obligation for these kids to get something else done besides stroking the books. Jess Lujan is online. That one, the one that wants Mana to run with him for governor and lieutenant governor. Vince Pangolinan, Mike Golto, Mike Schneip. Good morning to you. Lots and lots of folks hanging out here this morning. Dan Hippolito and others that are with us. At Venue Guam, that's Phil hanging out. Rico B says Valentine's. Nah, Super Bowl. That's what we got happening. 724. Jerry Roberts in the studio. Buenos Aires, Jerry.
Good morning, sir.
I've not had a chance to take a look at any of the numbers. We'll do that real quick and find out where the markets all ended up.
Nothing scary.
I don't see anything scary in Val. The numbers are looking good. Dow Jones Industrial Average up by 300 points, 35,768. Tricky days for the NASDAQ recently, but it looks like they're rebounding. 295 points in the green for the NASDAQ, 14,490 in the S&P 500, closed up by 65 points, 4,587. FTSE is up. The Nikkei is up by almost 300 points. Hang Seng up by 500. The Shanghai Index up by 27, and the DAX picks up 239 points. So it looks like all of the major markets are up. NASDAQ, as I said, looking pretty good. Big winners on the NASDAQ today include Mercado Libre, Moderna, NVIDIA, Align Technologies, and Atlassian Corp. Bottom 5, Amgen, Exelon, Gilead Sciences, Keurig, Dr. Pepper, and Amazon.com. Amazon dropping some points here.
Dr. Pepper?
Keurig Dr. Pepper. Apparently, I don't know. I gotta find out what's going on with these guys, because I don't know anybody that does not own a Keurig in their house, because coffee's not expensive enough.
So Keurig,
so you buy the little Keurig things and you spend more for the plastic cups they come in that never ever die.
So Keurig owns Dr. Pepper, or Dr. Pepper owns Keurig?
You know what? I'd have to find out what the genesis is of that particular company and who is the boss of who in that get together.
10, 2, and 4.
I don't know what that means.
Oh, I'm sorry, you missed a generation. On the label, they used to be part of the commercial. Okay, when do you drink Dr. Pepper? At 10,
oh, that's
2,
right.
and 4.
Wouldn't you like to be a doctor, too?
That one I know. I remember, the guy from the werewolf movie. Yeah, be a pepper. Don't you want to be a pepper, too? That's my generation. We're looking at oil, West Texas crude now at $90 and about 60 cents.
And Tapas?
Tapas, $97.40.
It went down.
Yeah, went backwards a little bit. So moving in the right
direction. Do you
think
they ran immediately for the computers to see if they could lower prices for us?
No, I think they're looking probably at the next shipment going, I wonder what it's going to be coming out of Singapore. So brace. Do I have a Bitcoin number, Real Joe?
You do. It's 44,704.
And 44,000. That's up from the last time we were paying any attention to was 37. Yeah, it's like 36, 37. So it looks like that one is moving in the right direction as well.
They're waiting on you, Ray.
Ain't gonna happen, baby. I never gamble because I can't afford to lose. 726, almost 727. Jerry Roberts has got the extra point, being brought to you here by Guahan Insurance Services and First Hawaiian Bank.
You said something or did something hurtful or shameful, and you should apologize. You think, yeah, I know I should, but, well, it's going to be embarrassing. Isn't there another way? Let's unravel this and get to the solution. Find out next on The Extra Point.
When's the last time you looked at your homeowner's insurance?
We buy a homeowner's policy and never give it another thought until something happens. Life brings changes, and our coverage needs can change. The smart thing to do is get the answers and level up our insurance to make sure we're totally protected.
That's the Insurance Extra Point. Get out there and make something good happen today by calling Guahan Insurance Services at 475-1162 or visit us at the Camacho Landmark Center in Tamuning.
Raise your glasses for a toast, because First Hawaiian Bank now turns your meals into a reason to celebrate. Every dollar you spend on dining purchases, including fast food, earns you up to 3 times United miles. Simply use your First Hawaiian Bank United credit card and start reaping the most rewarding credit card experience on island. Terms and restrictions apply. Don't have a First Hawaiian Bank credit card? Visit any branch or FHB.com to apply today. With First Hawaiian Bank, it all starts with yes.
Now, all of us have said and done things that have called for an apology. It's part of the human experience. If you've never been guilty of it, well, then your time is coming. How do you handle it and when? Let's throw some ideas around and see if we can find some common ground for the topic of apologies. Number one, when you realize what you've done, what you've said, that's the time to apologize. However, I need to add some qualifications to that. Number two, if it was just you and one other person who was involved and nobody else was present as witnesses, then just go ahead and do it. Sorry. Number three, on the other hand, if your offense took place in front of others, then it's more complicated. What you need to do is to assemble all of those people who saw this dust-up go down and then make the apology. Oh, no, wait a minute. Are you kidding me? You see, I had a boss once who wrongly criticized me in front of a whole team. Then, When he realized his mistake, he called me in his office to apologize. I looked around. The team wasn't there. It was just him and me. I always thought it was a gutless move. Nail me in front of everybody and then apologize in private. And he did it more than once. If you rip someone in front of an audience, something a manager should never do anyway, then you apologize with that audience present. It may take a while to get them together, but you do it. It's how you reestablish trust and credibility. Number 4, a simple "I'm sorry" is a good start, but it can't end there. Just like praise has to be specific to be effective, it's the same for an apology. Being specific lets the other person know you clearly understand the situation and what you did wrong. Mary, I misjudged your work on the project. I can see now that you had a big impact on the results. I appreciate your hard work. In the future, I'll be more careful. I hope you'll accept my apology. Simple as that. You could also toss in something like, I sure wish I hadn't been so quick to judge. Trust me, if your head is screwed on straight and the sentiment is right, the words will come. Number 5, do not apologize by text or email, something that some folks will do. I'm not necessarily looking at you, Gen Z, but this is the kind of thing that goes on today. Nope and never. This is done in person only. Number 6, no cheesy, halfway sort of apologies. You don't want to say anything like, "Sorry, dude, I didn't know it was going to be such a big deal," or "Golly, I'm sorry, but you shouldn't be so sensitive," or "Come on, you know that I was just goofing around." Doing this makes you look dumb and insincere. Not exactly the combination you want. Number 7, don't try to justify your actions during the apology. Well, I'm sorry, but it's really not my fault. So if it's not your fault, then this is really not an apology. And number 8, some people try to extract an apology while giving one. Well, Joe, I'm sorry for what I said, but if we're being truthful here, you were just as much to blame as I was, wouldn't you say? Maybe you owe me an apology too. So all of a sudden, that warmth and love and reconciliation, it sprung a leak. And number 9, what happens if I don't want to apologize? Maybe you figure it will all blow over and be forgotten, so you say nothing. People won't forget. You'll lose credibility. You'll lose trust. I've seen it happen, and maybe you have too. Don't do that. Adding a layer of arrogance to whatever it was that you did in the first place is not a genius move. My recommendations are to keep things simple. Don't overthink it. Again, express remorse for what you say or did. Take responsibility. Do what is needed to make amends, and say something about that you'll try to avoid doing it again. No, it's not pleasant all the time to have to go through this, but you'll be okay. You'll be fine once it's over. Do it right. You'll be glad you did, and so will your team. That's the extra point. Be responsible and make something good happen today for 93.3, The Ray Gibson Show, Guahan Insurance Services, and First Hawaiian Bank. I'm Jerry Roberts.
7:32 in the morning while Jerry Roberts was doing that, and I didn't pay that much attention. I've never needed to apologize to anybody for anything. What? It's true. Sorry. I was looking at something. And I want to get your thoughts on this, Jerry, before we get into headline news here. I went to the United.com website because I wanted to see. Today is the 10th of February.
He's buying us tickets? You're buying us tickets, right?
I'm not buying
No?
No,
Wait.
I'll apologize. I'm sorry. I'm not buying anybody tickets to go to Manila today because I'm not sure about these prices. Now, according to this, today is the first day that you're supposed to be able to fly into Manila with your vaccination card and a negative PCR test. Okay. Now, I was reading up on a buddy of mine who I know wants to be among the first dudes to get back to Manila for a variety of reasons, and one of the things that's slowing him down is that negative PCR test that you've got to have. You've got to have it within 48 hours of your trip. And he went someplace, and the price that they quoted him just for the negative for the PCR test with results within 48 hours was somewhere just south of $300.
Oh, yeah.
You got to and now it wasn't that long ago that just south of $300 was the ticket price to get to Manila, and now you've got that just in the deal.
Yeah.
So I'm at the website for United, and apparently it might be a couple of tickets that you can get on now for the 8 o'clock flight.
Today?
Today.
No, February 10th.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
that's today. All right. So so the 8 o'clock flight round trip is 570. Okay, wait. Hold on. If you were flying economy, $571. Economy plus, I guess, $1,348. And if you want to take a chair in business, it'll set you back $1,793.
Yeah, Economy Plus is where they give you like 2 inches more legroom.
Yeah. And we'll give you silverware instead of the plastic knife.
Yeah, and maybe a second bag of peanuts.
Maybe. Now, there's another way that you can get there. They've got a flight that is operated by All Nippon Airways through Narita. Are you ready for this? According to this, economy chair is for that flight $3,277. If you want to go with the Economy Plus, $5,421. Premium Economy is $6,441. And Business Class Chair.
Here we go.
Guam, Narita, Manila. Round trip. They'll bring it back.
Yeah.
$7,557.
It's the FedEx rule. When you absolutely, positively have to be there overnight, that's what you pay.
$75.57. The restrictions may apply. Find out what they are. Somebody out there is going, I need to get to Manila. Real bad. $8,000 worth in the business class chair. 7:36 in the morning. Monte Silva Tyrant's got big news and headlines. This all being brought to you by a whole bunch of friends that we've got here at the radio station. They are your friends as well. Burger King with the new Double Whopper Junior Your Way meal. French fries, 4-piece, chicken nuggets, and a refreshing Coca-Cola. So BK Your Way starting today. So 7:30 News also brought to you by Top End Pest Control. Ken and Karen want to neutralize your LFA or cockroach or whatever varmint problem you need them to take care of. 4875657. And it's also brought to you by Lolita Kemet, now with Half a Day Realty. Call Lolita at 671-688-6743. Principal broker Joe D. Duenas. Now with news and headlines, here's Monte Silva Tyrant.
The Mayor's Council is up for a roundtable meeting this afternoon at the legislature. They're going to discuss village operations, maintenance, beautification, and public safety programs that are being launched within the villages. That virtual hearing starts at 2 o'clock via Zoom. There are 4 new COVID-related fatalities reported in this morning's JIC. There have now been 303. The number of hospitalizations also on the rise. 52 people admitted with COVID-19, 6 of them in intensive care. And from the tests that were done the day before yesterday, 594 new cases have been confirmed. Meanwhile, police continue their investigation into a couple of deaths that took place earlier this month. The death of a man found at the Jigo Ranch has been determined to be classified as a homicide. Pat Sakai said to have been stabbed multiple times and suffered a blunt force trauma. According to the Post, an autopsy was completed this past weekend as well for a man who was found dead in a trash fire in Chalanpago. Investigators suspect foul play, but they haven't released any further details with regard to that investigation. And Guam Congressman Mike San Nicolas says that great news for Guam comes from the USCIS as it's included in the NDAA, the extension to the H-2B visa exemptions, and Guam and the CNMI can apply for labor for housing projects. And those are your top stories here on The Point.
Gwen. We'll find out. Dave Del Sola online with us in just a little bit. 7:38 in the morning. That's news and weather. Tell you what, we'll get around to doing some traffic and more as the Ray Gibson Show continues.
Knowledge is power. In just 60 seconds, the Evil 360 provides you a unique experience and a detailed report of your body composition for you to take action to improve your health. The Evil 360, turning information into inspiration to live a balanced lifestyle. Evil 360 is exclusively at the Take Care Wellness Center. Go to Simply Book Me or call 671-646-6956 extension 7260 for more information and to schedule an appointment with a member of the Take Care Wellness team.
What's a better way to celebrate Valentine's Day than celebrating it at Mescla with their 3-course meal? Starting off your meal with a salad appetizer, followed by a main entree of your choice, and of course, to top it all off, to make Valentine's as sweet as the day itself, a melting lava cake with vanilla ice cream and caramel sauce. So what are you waiting for? Call them at 671-649-2652 or visit mesclaguam.com for reservations. See you there.
Guam Auto Spot has the best selection in Buick, GMC, Mitsubishi, and used cars like the 2021 Mitsubishi Mirage starting at $127 per paycheck, 0 down. Call 671-478-AUTO to take a test drive or get pre-approved online at guamautospot.com.
In 20 minutes, it'll be 8 o'clock in the morning. We'll take a quick look at what's going on in traffic here. Usually by this time of day, we start to see things heavy up in the Data-Do area. And, yeah, it's ugly everywhere. Anderson Air Force Base, expect delays getting onto the base here this morning. It looks like things are snagged up there. And as you make your way southbound Marine Corps Drive, expect some more delays. It looks like we got north and southbound traffic that is running a lot slower than normal today up in the Jigo Town, Indy, Paopao, and Wai-Seng-Song. Paopao running busy. Wai-Seng-Song fairly clear right now. Intersection traffic mostly until you get to 1 and 3. And if you are in Ukadu and Guam Regional Medical City, expect some delays getting onto Marine Corps Drive. And it's just going to stay slow for a while until you pass. We got the Micronesia Mall, and then you head southbound Marine Corps Drive. Looks like by the time you get to around the DPW and Kmart intersection, it looks like things will smooth out a little bit more. Then you get into the Tamuning intersection traffic through there, 8, 10, and 16. Looks like we've got slower than normal traffic around the Happy Mart intersection. Traffic getting onto Route 8 is running slow from Route 10 as well. The intersection traffic, dogging out traffic all over Route 8 into the downtown Agutnia area where things are slow at most of the major intersections. Traffic, you know where it looks like traffic is running smoother, way smoother than normal? Naval Base Guam.
Yeah.
It's not red here this morning, and I haven't seen it like that in a while. 20 away from 8 o'clock in the morning. More of the Ray Gibson Show with Dave Del Sola and others on the way.
Love is perfect timing. And now is the time to make a move on the apple of your eye. A new iPhone 13 and Apple Watch make the perfect pair. And you can get yours now during GTA's Valentine's Day special. For a limited time, buy an iPhone 13 on HPO and get an Apple Watch 7 for free. While supplies last, terms and conditions apply. To find out more, visit gta.net or call us at 671-644-4482. Roses are red, violets are blue. At GTA, we start with you.
Always here to help you. This island is our home. Through the years, we've been a friend to the neighbors we have known. Now we're banking on the future. More services to choose. Bank Pacific, where others put branches, we place roots.
Attention! Lolita Kamet is now with Hoffaday Realty. She'll always be that hardworking and passionate real estate professional who is committed to helping you make a difference in your life and helping you achieve the American dream of home ownership. She also specializes in commercial leasing, land sales, local residential sales leasing, military and corporate relocation. So for all your real estate needs, call Lolita Kamet now with Hoffaday Realty at 688-6743. That's 688-6743.
742 portions of the program brought to you by the guys over at KFC. What's for breakfast over at KFC? Lots and lots for breakfast. They got this incredible menu that doesn't look like it's ever going to stop. Start off with the KFC fried rice and just move on from there. Later on, you're thinking about lunchtime and dinner time over at KFC. A recommendation is they've got that incredible Kentucky Fried Chicken, KFC fried chicken sandwich, and there's already a variant. There's already a variant. The variant now is the incredible local Denancy sauce that goes in there. Give it a little bit of extra zing. You can find that, or you can call them up, 300-FAST, and they'll bring it to you. $7:43 in the morning. How do you stop that crazy thing? In years now, as the crow flies, we might have a new hospital out in the Fidian area, and I hope they fix the roads on the way into that so that it will be easier for ambulances and people to go and visit their friends in the new medical complex that is going to be going up. Now, the question is, what's going to be happening with the people that own the land that medical complex is going to be on? Apparently, you know, they might be sitting around waiting for it to be declared excess and returned back to them. As the government of Guam is fond of doing, but maybe not if they're negotiating a 99-year lease. Why don't you get it back from the government and negotiate that 99-year lease with the landowners? Don't you think that's the way Ben Pangilinan would have wanted it?
Yeah.
That's the way all the old timers would have wanted it. But I'm not sure if it's going to be happening that way. Some landowners have been compensated. I'm reading this from the article in today's Guam Daily Post. Some landowners have been compensated for their Mangilao land, but you will be working with DLM for a clearer picture of what's already transpired as far as the land compensation is concerned. The governor believes there's about $15 million in the land claims fund to compensate landowners whose properties can never be returned, adding that the legislature may want to look at appropriating more money for it. You see that? You see what just happened here? This isn't my problem. I'm going to make it the legislature's problem. I'm going to make it so that you guys are going to be over the barrel on this thing. And if you don't come up with money, then you don't love original landowners and you don't love medicine. 7:45 in the morning, 888-8255-888-TALK is the telephone number. Last hour about this time with Congressman Mike Sinicolas. I could not get him to admit that he is running for governor. He says there's still some things that they want to get through in Washington, D.C. Mana infers that to mean as soon as he's done with those assignments, then the announcement will be
close out
forthcoming.
some business before he can make any announcements. So that,
Right.
kind of leads you to believe.
Real
that
Joe,
there's-
have you found Frank Huggan yet?
No, I have not.
Is he not answering on the old numbers?
Yeah.
All right. Somebody out there has got it.
The new number?
797-8255. If you've got Frank Huggan's new contact information, I'd be much obliged because I'd like to talk to him and clear out some of these rumors that we're hearing that he is going to be running with Congressman Mike Sinicolas as his running mate for Antelope. 7:46 in the morning. Is that Dave on the line?
It is, sir, the director of Department of Labor.
It's my favorite director of the Department
Dave,
of Labor these days. Dave Del Sol on the line. Buenas noches, Dave.
Hey, how you doing there, Ray? Hi, Mana.
Hi, Dave.
You know, I'm happy as you know, I've got some construction work that I want to get done around the house, but it's kind of prohibitive right now because the only guys that I can get to work on it can only work at night and on the weekends from the 4 or 5 jobs that they've already got on base.
Yeah.
Sure would be nice if I had access to a little bit more and cheaper labor. Any opportunities there that might be coming out of new information from Washington D.C.? How's that going to be working on the ground here?
Well, you know, back in January, we did that release that a new guidance was coming, and I already knew what was coming down. We were just waiting for the higher Ds to sign it in USCIS. And, you know, they were under a lot of pressure from the governor in July, and they reached out to us in September for the first time that I've ever known since I've worked with labor since the 90s. And they were saying, hey, we'd like to get an idea how we can clear up our guidance on the adversely affected by, maybe to use this as a way to help you with non-military construction on Guam. So we sat down and had dozens of meetings and rolled up our sleeves. And, you know, basically, long story short, the Admiral gives a letter to construction companies with projects that are associated with or directly connected to. And Greg Massey said, well, why don't Department of Labor give a letter to the contractors for those in support that are adversely affected by? And we explained our whole operations, how we do enforcement. They were impressed with what we did. We wrote up the language. We put a flow chart together. We explained how it's all going to work. They ran it up their chain of command. They liked it. They incorporated it, and boom, they hit us with this new guidance. So, you know, we've been waiting for this, and the governor's been very well informed. She was in support about us giving a letter to help us, and they even put in the language on housing projects. So these are all non-military projects, and they still have to show and do their due diligence as far as getting the facts of how the military realignment adversely affect them hiring, finding workers, and getting their projects up and running. And once they give us those, I will review it. Our office will, if we agree, we'll write up a letter that basically is in support of their findings. And hopefully, as easy as the Admiral's letter goes with their application, it'll be the same process. So, the proof will be when we give those letters out and we attach it and send it out and they come back approved. Then that hopefully will open the door for contractors to get that, chilling effect out and start putting in their applications for more H2s for the housing market that's with us.
Right.
So, this has been a lot of work coming, and hopefully this will be what will finally satisfy that need.
All right. Well, I'm trying to be practical with some examples. We got the guys that Dave wants to go and put together this Vista Del Mar up at Two Lovers Point, and maybe a little bit of work down in the Gonya area. And so the contractors associated with that would need to show, as you said, due diligence that they're having a hard time finding contractors and construction workers for that project as a result of the competition for the military buildup. They put together an application.
Not quite. The contractors have to do that. So basically, you would try to find a company that would build, and if they don't have the workers, which there are a lot of, they would just like when you get a contract to build a hotel or anything else, you bring in the H2s based on that project, you get that approved. Or a military project. Now they would put together like, I got a contract that's, 30 million, 40 million to build, Vista housing, whatever project. And they would basically go out. They'll have the immigration attorneys write up that finding workers to do that, local workers, U.S. workers. They would show proof that they try to recruit. They would show proof that there's nothing available, that majority of the workers have all gone to the military projects, which we all know, and there isn't any a pool of people, construction workers available to do civilian projects. And we would agree with those findings if, after looking at everything, we would give a letter in support. That form is on our website already. You can go to Department of Labor under ALPCB, which is Alien Labor, and the compliance section. You'll see that letter with some of the guidance on there. Like I said, it's been all written up, waiting for us to turn it on live, and you can start filling out those forms. And of course, you can reach out to our office to get some additional guidance and explanation, and we'll help you walk you through the steps to ensure that the project is approved and hopefully everything is good. And then, like everything else, it's a domino. If one or two start to get approved, then the others will start seeing it. More companies will come out of the woodwork, who have, just kind of given up on trying to get H2s. And hopefully, in the next few years, these companies will start coming out. But, the proof will be when we start to get those approvals. Things will start working very quickly if it works as well as the Admiral's letter. And
right. Well, and we've had success with Admiral's letters. I mean, the Tsubaki Tower is a great example of how the military came out and said, yeah, this is going to be of value to the members of the services here on Guam and their families. And so they kind of said, yeah, we'll go ahead and authorize this. And I thought it would be a good idea, and apparently it was, to put something a little bit more permanent in place. So all of the clocks that needed to chime simultaneously between here and Washington, D.C. have done so. Now, on these projects, I'm assuming that there would be the same restrictions on the employees. Once these H-2B laborers came out to Guam, they would only be allowed to be working on those projects. It's not like they're going to be able to pick up any side gigs and work on my kitchen cabinets in the tile, right?
Yeah, yes. That would not be allowed. But as additional projects come up, contractors can add additional projects onto their existing list and send it in for approval. And if they're all very similar in nature, like building housings or projects, and they've already gotten that same similar thing approved, then they can just be added in. And I'm being very simplistic, but it's essentially, like that. You can add to your project list as time goes on. So if you're building 10 houses, and as you get close to finishing up, 7 houses, you can add another 10 houses on there that are very similar, and just keep adding and adding, as long as, all the criteria remain the same.
Now, what would the role of the Fed be? So if I got, I've done my due diligence, I got my letter signed off on by Dave Del Sola and Greg Massey, I should be able to move forward with this over kind of the longer term here.
Yes, you would send it in with your application.
But what are they going to do in the States? Are they going to they got a guy out here that's going to verify what I've already written and that you guys have already blessed?
Well, that was the whole reason why they blessed us to do that for them. They were trying to find somebody that is, autonomous from the contractors and, that can help provide, just like the Admiral, it's about as autonomous as you get. We had to sit down and go over our whole operation. And they were very impressed with how from cradle to grave, when their H2s come in, we give them their badges, and they stay here. We go to every job site. We ensure that they're doing their jobs and they're just staying in within their specific skill. And then when they leave, we make sure that they are taken to the airport and watch them leave.
Watch them get on the plane and leave, and not be a burden, and not have to worry about overstaying any visas or anything like that. Will there be milestones and metrics that have been provided by the USCIS? So over the long term, this will get easier and more predictable and more of a, this is the day-to-day operation for construction workers here on Guam. I guess what I'm asking is, over time, will they look over and say, yeah, you guys were never a big problem in the first place. Maybe we'll just go back to the way it was back in the 80s and 90s.
And a good question, and that's something that I'm hoping will happen. And so my biggest next step after doing all this is to maintain our relationship that we've started to, that we established in September. So I'll be meeting with them whenever I go to D.C. I will sit down. I will, stroke whatever needs to be stroked, show them the proof.
I'm getting a visual. Thanks. I appreciate that. Thanks, Dave.
It's all about giving them the data and the reassurance that we're just not rubber stamping, and that we are basically proving that what we already know. I mean, that there isn't any workers available to work on construction workers.
Well, which leads me to the next question.
Keep that obvious.
Yeah, which leads me to the next question, because we've already got job announcements here. Specific federal management looking for carpenters, cement masons, and reinforcing metal workers at $16.73 an hour, and round trip airfare and food and lodging and all of that stuff. At some point, we're going to want to sit around and say we shouldn't need to do this on as massive a scale as we've got. We still have a shortage of local guys that can, number one, do the work, and number two, I suppose, be able to get on the base where a big chunk of the work needs to get done these days. So while you're working in this direction, we've also got to work in the other direction, and that is educating and mobilizing our own local workforce.
And we are doing as much as we can through the apprenticeship program. We're working very closely with Guam Trades Academy. We work very closely with GCC. We fund, we help educate, and put these workers in apprenticeship programs. And, as the buildup, in the next 4 years or so starts to wean, those workers, we have 3,000 to 4,000 U.S. workers on this island, and they start finishing those projects on base. Hopefully, they'll be more available to work on the civilian project. The situation that we are in now evolved over the last 4 or 5 years as, number one, when the H-2s weren't available at all, and those military projects started stepping up and they started subbing with local contractors. I mean, you check any decent local contractor is basically working in behind the fence and have their hands full. There's only a few that don't, and they usually are the ones that can't get behind the fence.
You and I talk to the same people and know the same issues here. I mean, that's why everybody's doing DIY stuff over at Home Depot, because we can't find the guy to come out there and do the work for us, because everybody's busy. 7:59 and change. I know that you're busy. If we had more time, I'd talk to you about some CARES Act money that is going towards being able to stand up more opportunities for people that would like to work. There are jobs out there. Dave Del Sole can find those jobs for you. And in many cases,
we just got $1.7 million also.
That's right.
To, put into training. So be looking for that money to be going out to help our unemployed.
Maybe next week we'll spend some time talking about that on the radio, how there are guys out here that need to get themselves other skills so that they can take advantage of some of the jobs that are out there. Electrical, plumbing, construction, IT, as an example. Seems to me everybody I know is hiring for IT positions.
Operating.
Yep. And
truck driving.
$30 bucks an hour for some of these jobs. It's crazy. 8 o'clock in the morning, Dave. I'll see you pretty soon.
Yes, I'll see you out on the beach. Thank you.
As a matter of fact, yeah, you might just. Stand by now. Fox News Live playing on KUSG. 93.3. We are The Point.
Justice for a little girl in a Colorado courtroom. Elisa Brady, Fox News. Nearly 5 years after 7-year-old Olivia Gant died, her mother has just been sentenced to 16 years in prison for causing her daughter's death by lying about her health, even convincing doctors to perform unneeded surgeries, all to keep collecting money from charities.
Gant died in hospice care in 2017, her feeding tubes removed. Her death ruled intestinal failure, though a later investigation showed no signs of illness or conditions that Turner claimed. The girl's father and grandparents also sued a children's hospital of Colorado, saying doctors there failed to do their duties as mandatory reporters of child abuse.
Fox's Jeff Manasso, the mother of 43-year-old Kelly Turner, pleading guilty to multiple counts last month to avoid a murder charge. It was only after Gant died and Turner brought her older daughter to the same hospital with bone pain that doctors decided to take a closer look. America's debate masks may not end anytime soon as multiple states lift mandates.
Our guidance has consistently been this. When you are in a high transmission area, which is everywhere in the country, you should wear a mask in indoor settings, including schools.
White House spokeswoman Jen Psaki, as the CDC holds off on updating its guidance. Massachusetts joined a growing list of states planning to let schools end masking in the coming weeks if local officials want to, while New York and Illinois today joined other states lifting most indoor masking but keeping masks in schools. Taxpayers will not be paying for crack pipes as part of a grant program aimed at reducing harm to drug users. The Health and Human Services Secretary making clear in a written statement no federal funding will be used to put pipes in safe smoking kits. This after criticism the White House says was fueled by inaccurate reporting about grant applications. America is listening to Fox News.
Hafaday, this is Congressman Nicholas. While local COVID-19 testing has unfortunately become less available lately, there are 4 free at-home federally available COVID tests that you can have to test yourselves and your families as needed. Please contact your congressional office at 671-475-6453 or at michael.snicholas@mail.house.gov to find out how we can help you access those tests.
This ad was paid for with official funds from the Office of Congressman Michael F.Q. San Nicolas.
What's a better way to celebrate Valentine's Day than celebrating it at Mescla with their 3-course meal? Starting off your meal with a salad appetizer, followed by a main entree of your choice, and of course, to top it all off, to make Valentine's as sweet as the day itself, a melting lava cake with vanilla ice cream and caramel sauce. So what are you waiting for? Call them at 671-649-2652 or visit mesclaguam.com for reservations. See you there.
A federal judge stops a South Dakota rule that would make it one of the hardest states to get abortion pills.
A judge granted a preliminary injunction against Republican Governor Kristi Noem's rule requiring abortion seekers to make 3 separate visits to a doctor to take abortion pills. Women in South Dakota currently receive both drugs of a 2-dose regimen in 1 visit, but take the 2nd dose at home. Planned Parenthood, which operates the state's only abortion clinic, arguing the rule would prevent its ability to provide medication-induced abortions. Governor Noem took executive action in anticipation that the FDA would lift a requirement for patients to pick up the drugs in person. Noem argues the FDA's policy would endanger women seeking an abortion, but the agency says it found complications from abortion pills to be rare. Steve Rappaport, Fox News.
A toxicologist testifies it wasn't drug use, heart disease, or an agitated state known as excited delirium that caused George Floyd's death as he was pinned down by Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin. This adding to multiple medical witnesses at the federal trial of 3 other former officers accused of violating Floyd's civil rights by failing to intervene or render aid. Chauvin pleaded guilty in the federal case after being convicted of murder in state court. A social media stunt backfires when a woman tries to fake her own kidnapping.
Pennsylvania State Police say while at a restaurant in Kelly Township, 41-year-old Felicia Nettles of Texas passed a note falsely claiming she'd been taken against her will, urging a server to call 911. When local and state police responded, she explained she meant it as a joke, looking to record a reaction from the server to share on TikTok, adding she didn't expect anyone to take her seriously. Nettles cited with disorderly conduct. In Texas, she could have been charged with making a false report to induce an emergency, which is a misdemeanor.
Fox's Christian Goodwin. The Dow up 305 today. Lisa Brady, Fox News.
Need to finish the job or start one the right way? Get the right stuff at East West Rental Center. You can switch to easy mode using industrial strength equipment. With years of experience helping builders, East West Rental gives you exactly what you need. Tools for landscaping, concrete, lifts, trucks, tables, tents, chairs, water blasters, excavators, forklifts, air compressors, and more. Call East West Rental Center at 646-1463 or visit them in Upper Tumont. Open Monday to Saturday from 7 to 5, Sundays 8 to 5.
Half a day, this is Josh here at APL. Our expertise and extensive network can help you grow your business and reach out to more global markets. As a responsible carrier, APL is also committed to a sustainable future, whether it's protecting the environment or investing our efforts in giving back to the community. Our dedicated teams in Guam, Saipan, and on U.S. mainland are here to support you. Call 588-4651 or visit www.apo.com.
Subway keeps the Eat Fresh Refresh subs rolling in with the fresh take on timeless classics. Try the honey mustard rotisserie style chicken. It's the new Subway rotisserie style chicken with a flavor upgrade, mizzled with honey mustard on hearty multigrain bread and topped with fresh hand-sliced veggies. Craving some heat? The Baja Turkey Avocado hits all the hot notes. Oven roasted turkey stacked high on hearty multigrain speared with smashed avocado and drizzled with the piquant chipotle sauce. Tuck into new subs to savor at Subway. Eat fresh.
Your local news is brought to you by Nambo Insurance. Skip the line, pay online. It's fast, it's easy, and it's secure. Visit Nambo.com for more information.
Off the day, it's 8:06. I'm Mana Silva Tyron with a look at your local news. On the point, the governor's still pursuing her lease for the Mangilao property for a new hospital and will be looking at a 99-year lease from the Department of Navy. It's no secret that the administration's been eyeing the old Eagles field in Mangilao for their medical complex, even as an adjacent site is being surveyed by the military for a radar communication station. The governor, in a live virtual press conference yesterday, said that the lease negotiations are occurring right now with the Joint Region Marianas. The Missile Defense Agency is also doing an assessment of an adjacent property that the governor says was once a radar communication site. The property the governor is talking about is still in the federal assets inventory. She says it's not listed in what's called the net negative list, which lists all of the excess property from the military. Meanwhile, local companies in Guam and the CNMI can apply to employ foreign workers for civilian housing projects under a new exemption granted by the USCIS. The Post reports the policy alert issued by the USCIS extends the H-2B visa exemptions to petitioners whose contracts or subcontracts are supporting the military realignment. Congressman Mike Nicholas tells us that the policy change includes the need for more housing as an eligible H-2B need. acknowledges the adverse impact of available labor as a result of the military buildup and creates a process for the Department of Labor, the local office, to have a greater role in the H-2B approval consideration, all of which will help us get more workers to bring down the cost of housing on Guam and boost our civilian construction industry. Also from the Department of Labor, the U.S. Department of Labor announced an incremental award of $1.7 million to Guam. The money will support continued disaster relief, employment, and workforce development in response to the pandemic. This is one of 64 national dislocated worker grants, and the Department of Labor says this money will go toward training Guam's workforce. At the legislature, there's a virtual public hearing scheduled for this afternoon. The committee headed by Senator Pito Terlahi will call the Mayor's Council to discuss village operations, maintenance, beautification, and public safety programs. That will be at 2 o'clock via Zoom. We'll have more news right after this.
Go green, go solar, and save big with Nambo Insurance. When you power up your home with solar panels, Nambo Insurance will pay up to $350 toward your power bill. With Nambo, you can enjoy great savings while going green and helping to save Guam's environment. At Nambo, it pays to go green. Terms and conditions apply. Visit Nambo.com or call 477-9754 for details. Nambo Insurance, proudly serving Guam for over 50 years.
4 more COVID-related fatalities reported in this morning's Joint Information Center report, and that brings us to 303 total fatalities related to COVID. The deaths include a 68-year-old woman, an 83-year-old man, an 81-year-old man, and an 89-year-old woman. All 3 did have underlying health conditions. Also, the number of hospitalizations up to 52, 6 people in the hospital, and there were 594 new cases reported out of 1,500 people tested. And the Department of Public Health did receive an additional 8,000 test kits this week, and they expect another 70,000 kits to arrive soon. In the meantime, Public Health is rationing those test kits to those who are considered high risk or who have COVID symptoms. The governor says once the government determines a comfortable level of the amount of testing available, testing kits available, prioritization could be changed. In the meantime, the governor does say that she's optimistic that Guam's probably in the last stages of this pandemic. And from the Department of Education, they continue to explore every option to ensure students are caught up with their lessons and are urging parents to ensure they enroll their kids to Escuela en Puengi, especially those who need to make up credits. The registration will end on February 23rd, and the classes are set to start on February 28th. Students must contact their respective schools to register for Escuela en Puengi. In addition to that, DOE is also gearing up for its summer school program. Still up in the air, though, is if DOE and the board will make summer school mandatory for some of their students. The Post does say that it's something DOE is not opposed to, but first they want to ensure that it can be funded with ARP money. And those are your top stories here on The Point. Here's Ray with your weather.
Let's see what we've got for you today at 11 in the morning. Mostly sunny today with highs near 86 degrees. East-northeast winds to about 16 miles, gusting as high as 20 miles an hour today. I got the images from Pirates Cove earlier this morning, and I haven't had a chance to put them up yet, but a gorgeous sunrise that took place around 6:46 this morning over at the eastern side of the island, where they are enjoying partly cloudy skies tonight with overnight lows of about 76 degrees, east winds 15 miles an hour with gusts as high as 20 or so. For tomorrow, mostly sunny in the forecast, daytime highs near 86 degrees with a heat index. It will feel like 90 degrees because that's what the heat index does. We got rip current warnings that are in effect right now, and sunset scheduled for 6:25 tonight. Hashtag tell the others. And some people don't. What do you mean by hashtag tell the others? You know, in my mind, sunsets need to be a little bit of a social experience. I mean, it's always nice. You're going out there, Valentine's weekend coming up, get all lovey-dovey and all of that. But otherwise, I mean, if you're not going to be doing that, then call up some of your closest buddies and say, hey, do me a favor, bring a cooler, some beer, and some ice, and let's go catch this sunset and take that into the Super Bowl weekend. Know what I mean? That's why I say hashtag tell the others. 8:12 in the morning in the Ray Gibson Show.
Everyone has a busy schedule these days, and sometimes we forget to schedule our routine dental checkup and cleaning. Don't neglect your dental health. Schedule one today with Dr. Robert Yang and his Smile Team, conveniently located at the East West Business Center on Marine Drive, Upper Tumon. Call us today at 647-8702 or 3. Again, that's 647-8702 or 647-8703. We make smiles happen.
Love is perfect timing. And now is the time to make a move on the apple of your eye. A new iPhone 13 and Apple Watch make the perfect pair. And you can get yours now during GTA's Valentine's Day special. For a limited time, buy an iPhone 13 on HPO and get an Apple Watch 7 for free. While supplies last, terms and conditions apply. To find out more, visit gta.net or call us at 671-644-4482. Roses are red, violets are blue. At GTA, we start with you.
Hey, remind me, give away some of those friend zone version of the flowers. From
Oh, yeah.
Mama Tove. There's 3 flowers from there. We're going to give that away a little bit later on. Portions of the program, though, being brought to you by our friends over at APL, American President Lines, global presence with a local home. Also being brought to you by the team over at Mescla, incredible Chamorro Fusion Bistro, and a great place to enjoy your Valentine's celebration. Chef Peter's got all kinds of stuff lined up for you, or you can just choose from whatever's on the menu. You get Chamorro platter, some great burgers, and keto-friendly menu available for you as well. At Mescla's, their Holiday service in Agana and the Grand Plaza in Tumon. The number to make those Valentine's reservations, 479-2652. 671-479-2652 for reservations at Mescla.
Rediscover talk radio here. It's the Ray Gibson Show. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
814-888-8255-888-TALK. Chanel. That's Janella from the Department of Public Health and Social Services. We'll be talking about test kits, what to do with the new ones that they've got coming in, and what to do with if you've got one of those mail order from China test kits. And you took it, and you're positive. What are you supposed to do with that information? I mean, how does that apply now to the JIC reports that are coming out and the constant census of folks? Or does it even matter anymore? And we might also find out her thoughts on being able to get back to the Philippines now if you're fully vaccinated and you've got a negative PCR test within 48 hours. We were looking at earlier. Well, I was looking at airplane ride prices between here and Manila, and you can still get into one of those for less than about $600. Or if you want to go through Narita City in Japan, unbelievable prices from the United web page that talks about that. $571 economy fare on the 8 o'clock flight. Now I don't know that that it is available. There's a thing where you can select a seat, and then round trip aboard the other economy. Fully refundable, it says, is $1,348. Round trip in business, $1,793. But like I said, if you can spend more if you want to go through Narita City in business, and that flight leaves at what, one something like that. Round trip from here to Narita to Manila, $7,557. I know people listening to the broadcast right now, their first car didn't cost $7,557. Are those prices for the real, as the kids say? Interesting concepts. 8:16 in the morning, 888-825-588. TALK is the telephone number. What happened? You okay there?
Oh, yeah, she ran into a delay, so she's going to call in a little bit later.
In a little bit later okay. Well, that's okay, because I got all kinds of other stuff to talk about here. We got full newspapers and projects that we can go through. Much was apparently said by the governor yesterday, back in town after meeting up with some governors in the states and arguably some movers and shakers. Have we decided yet who's going to get credit for this H-2B thing? Because right? It's on one side, it sounds like it was Mike St. Nicholas working it through, and no stone left unturned, burning the midnight oil in Washington D.C. to make sure that all of the responsive agencies and the federal government knew exactly what the issue was here on Guam and resolving to solve that problem. Or was it Governor Lulian Guerrero working with Dave Del Sola in that? And the answer is I don't know. But we are in a time here where it's all going to be battle of the perspectives, isn't it? And the battle of ceremonies and ribbon cuttings and things like that. And some of that we'll talk about here on the radio. 888-825-888-TALK is the telephone number. But among the things that the governor was talking about yesterday, apparently And I don't know what level of Hosanna we want to make this, but apparently we are in line to get electric buses. Okay. Yes, that's what they said. Electric buses in the store. Let's see if I can find it in a newspaper this morning. Is with all kinds of money that's going to be coming in from the Fed. And with her going back there and talking to all kinds of people about, other grant opportunities, it's possible that DPW could be getting a number of electric buses that they will use to augment the fleet of the big diesel buses that we're currently using for the Department of Education and the transportation of the kids. Now, I don't want to be one of those guys like super negative about everything, but I'm just kind of curious, how are we doing on maintaining the fleet of buses that we have already? There have been times in the past where, here it is 3 or 4 days away from the start of the school year, and we hear from the guys that are running things over at the Department of Public Works saying, okay, you ready for the buses? We will be as soon as we get some batteries and oil and new tires for the ones that we've got. We got guys that know how to fix the Bluebirds and all the other components of the fleet over at DPW. What do you suppose is going to happen when things start going sideways on these electric buses here? Are we gonna have the expertise there to be able to do the maintenance on them, do the repairs on them, and get them back on the road? Just kind of curious. So here's the deal. If you're going to be the guys that buys all this stuff for Lou, make sure you get the what do you call it? Great warranty and the manual. Get a manual so you can read the thing.
Chilton's.
Yeah, Chilton's.
Electric Chilton's.
I don't, some people rave about these electric cars, and I tell you what, we're looking at gasoline at $5.19 a gallon. I have no idea where the prices of diesel are these days, but the prices for everything seems to be going up, and there aren't all that many alternatives to transportation for the kids. Although I think it is kind of interesting that seemingly. It would be fun to take a look and see what the numbers were. Are there more parents that are involved in car line situations than there are that let the kids ride the bus? When Big Sister Shelley and I were growing up, that was, for us to finally get permission from our mother to ride the bus, because, she didn't know who the bus driver was. And a stranger's going to be picking you up over at the Garrido's store and taking you all the way to Cathedral Grade School. I don't know about that. And we had to prove that it was a safe and effective means of getting us to school. After which, my mother discovered that, kids like it. And I don't know that we were ever in her car again after that. It was one of those things. Okay, you can ride the bus now? Fine, we'll do that. Mana and on the other hand, Mana, I was the bus driver for Mana for quite a number of years when she was growing up.
Every single day.
Every single day. Every single day. Because I'm out partying at Lights in Fernando's every night.
And then we would give up hope and call Shelley, who lived in Agana, to come all the way up and pick us up and take us to school.
Yeah, God, I love the 80s. What a terrific time.
Unreliable.
8:21 in the morning, 888-825-5888-TA. Okay, that's all part of the story of the governor going into social media yesterday with the trip report and again continuing to talk about the hospital because it is the highest priority that we've got in the entire land.
It was a long one.
Apparently.
I started watching, I fell asleep, I woke up and she was still talking.
It was that good?
Like, wow.
Wow. Like nap God. I don't know. I didn't know that there was going to be anything in there that I was inclined to listen for. For me, I'm sitting around looking at all these different states and municipalities, and it's like they're not walking away from mandates and restrictions. They're in some cases they're running away from them. An example in Britain, I just saw this on Twitter a few minutes ago. They're going to be they had announced a date about a month from now where all the restrictions, everything was getting totally lifted. And I guess the guy Boris has decided that they're going to lift it like now. Just not going to wait for it. The whole thing is done. They have been through their COVID-19. They've been through the Omicron. And as far as they're concerned, it's done and over with. And the governor did make a comment, something along the lines of, we are at the... I want to make sure I get the quote right from the Guam Daily Post. The governor, however, said she's optimistic that Guam is, quote, probably in the last stages of this pandemic. And the question that I have is, what what else are we waiting for? I mean, what other metrics do we need to have? There are always going to be people in the hospital for one thing or another. And if the problem is that the hospital is stressed, well, let's take some of that $500 million that we haven't spent yet and buy ourselves some more of these renting nurses and get them down there so that, if somebody does get a COVID booger, that they're going to be taken care of. Otherwise, let everybody go back to doing whatever it is that they need to do. 823, is having a tough time these days. And not making as big a deal about it is guys in a restaurant game. I mean, business is really, really soft for these guys. In some cases, 25% off from where they would normally be around this time of year. All of them running into the same problems that we've got. I told you I went to Subway yesterday and got my lunch. And I told you I went to the Subway a couple of weeks ago up in Barragata to get my lunch. You know what they had in common? The experience was common in one respect. Are you ready for it? When I went to the one in Barragata a week ago, I could only get a wheat bread sandwich. That's all they had. They didn't have white bread. They didn't have any of the other exotic flavors. They had wheat. And I went to the one yesterday over by the gas station, and I said, yeah, I'd like to take a BMT on, not honey oat. They don't have that anymore. But even before I got out the bread request, there's a BMT, and the lady starts, we only have wheat. We've only got,
Ray.
I know.
You're looking good, man.
I'm feeling good. A little bit of wheat bread, a little bit of extra roughage in there, things moving smoothly through the system, as it were. But there are shortages all over the place and all kinds of things.
Well, don't they make their bread daily?
Yes.
It's fresh bread.
But apparently they don't
have
the white flour and some of the ingredients that go in there. And there's a nice little handwritten note and say, we apologize. We've got some supply chain issues in the building, and we'll still make you a great salad. All of the meat that I wanted was there. The BMT meat was there, and all the vegetables that I wanted, but they didn't have the flavor of the bread that I was looking for. And so there's a lot of pressure on these guys.
Would you get a discount?
No. I did not get a discount.
Never hurts to ask.
But I wanted to ask, hey, come on, I know you got one bag down there. I know you got one of those old Subway plastic bags, dude. Can you give me one just for old time? I mean, if I'd have known they weren't going to be giving those out in 2022, I would have saved them, because there's nothing like the feeling of holding the Subway bag with the big Subway sandwich in it and your chips in the bag.
You know what? You can save your newspaper bags. The one that you get from the post, you just put your sandwich in there.
Real Joe.
Yeah.
Do we get bags?
We do. Yeah, I tear them open, man.
Comes in the red bag.
Yeah.
As opposed to undoing the knot on the top of it.
Man,
and
those guys, man, they tie the knot.
they tie it up.
They don't want any water getting in there.
It's been so long, because normally Joe's got the newspapers out for me before I come in.
Yeah,
so it's been a long time
since.
Yes, unfolded. He's got an ironing board out there.
I see him.
Just like in Downton Abbey.
Yes, ma'am, sir.
So I've got that experience waiting for me. But you're right. It's been a long time since I've had to rip open a bag for the newspaper. And why don't they take those bags over to the Subway place?
It sounds like a partnership.
Inquiring minds want to know. 8:26 in the morning on the Ray Gibson Show. I'm coming up with, and there's a little bit of hem and haw going on, because I've got a little bit of hem and haw in my head. We've got those roses from Mama Tove to give away, and today is Thursday before Valentine's, so I want to make sure I get a couple of contests going between now and the end of the program. But I'm having a hard time settling on a particular question, and I want it to be love and romance, television love and romance, specifically from the late 60s and early 70s. But I cannot remember for the life of me, and it's been a long time since I've seen the television program, The Courtship of Eddie's Father. Do you remember the television show?
No.
No, you don't remember that. Is it Eddie?
Is that Love American Style? No.
Eddie, who was the little boy, and he had a father, and the father, they had like a maid that lived with him. Mrs. Livingston, I think, was her name. I might be wrong. Mrs. Livingston might have been the doll from Family Affair. But anyway, so there was a Japanese woman, and I don't remember whether or not, this is one of those Ask Shelley questions, right? But I don't remember if the courtship of Eddie's father with the Japanese maid ever finally happened. Did they ever get together, or were they friend zone forever? Because that's the way it was in the 60s and 70s, saying, oh, that's interracial relationship that we've got going on there. Look, but don't touch. You know what I mean? So I don't know why, but that's forming the basis of a question in my head for which we will do a contest. The contest will be on the Facebook Live. That's how you're going to win, because that makes it easy for Real Joe. All he's got to do is right-click on the winner's name, and then we'll get all the information over to Mama To. We'll try to get one of these contests going between here.
But wasn't she married?
And,
I mean, her name
9.
was Mrs. Livingston.
You know,
married.
again, you know, it was a strange, kind of crazy world that we lived in the 1970s. Real Joe, you mentioned one of my favorite TV shows of all time.
Oh, Love
American Style, which was a great platform. My God, television, there was so much better then. I don't remember the amount of finger wagging and you know, get woke, go broke kind of mentality that we've got. I was reading another thing that I got from Twitter. GoFundMe, and you will recall last week, GoFundMe took millions of dollars that people had donated through GoFundMe for the Freedom Caravan up in Canada, and said, well, you know what, these guys are violent. It's more of an occupation than it is kind of a demonstration. So we're going to take that $9 million and give it to somebody else. Well, the world caught on to that and said, you guys are just a bunch of blanking crooks. And so they backed up on that. And now, in addition to having to be required to give the money back to the donors, the other problem that they have now is apparently there is a bounce fee. So in order to do that, they've got to give not just your money back, but fees that are associated with that. There are attorney generals from all across the country, and it wouldn't surprise me, you know, if our AG got into this, that are now suing them, you know, for being blanking crooks. Is what's happening with the guys from over at GoFundMe. In the meantime, there are other organizations that are doing crowdsourcing fundraising for the Freedom Caravan, and the fun part is they're making way more money than they would have with the guys over at GoFundMe. It's 8:29 in the morning. Is that Chanel?
No, it's not.
It's not?
It's Ray with an E.
Oh, our EY. We'll get around to doing it. Tell you what, we'll jump into news and headlines with Mana. We'll hang out with Ray and find out what's on his mind as the program continues. Mana's got news next.
$15 might not get you that far, but Chili's is bucking the trend with $15 meal deals. At Chili's, $15 gives you not one, not two, but 3-course meal deals, complete with a drink, a starter, and an entree. Mix and match 3-course meals 15 ways to Sunday with soup, salad, or chips and salsa to start, and ranchero chicken tacos, honey chipotle crispers with rice, bacon ranch quesadillas, or personal fajitas for the main course. Build your own $15 meal deal at Chili's. More life and great value happen here.
Attention Guam Power Authority commercial accounts. GPA proudly announces that our Energy Sense rebate program has just gotten bigger and better to include customers on rate schedule G and J. With GPA's Energy Sense program, commercial accounts can receive up to $350 per ton in rebates with the purchase of a qualified unit through any of our approved vendors. The GPA Energy Sense rebate program helps lower energy costs, improves energy efficiency, and saves you money. Visit us at guampowerauthority.com/energy sense. Effective dates for units may vary.
Guam Auto Spot has the best selection in Buick, GMC, Mitsubishi, and used cars like the 2021 Mitsubishi Mirage starting at $127 per paycheck, 0 down. Call 671-478-AUTO to take a test drive or get pre-approved online at guamautospot.com.
You know, I suppose I could do one where, you know, I get like a celebrity and you have to tell me, you know, some of the guys that she's dated. I don't know. I mean, I'm just thinking out loud. I want to, make it an easy method to be able to give it away. And I was like, can you name at least 3 guys that have dated Jennifer Aniston as an example? I know your first reaction is, well, didn't you, Ray, and Jennifer Aniston have a thing at one time? I thought I saw pictures of you and her, at Mount Lam. And no. Your thing is somebody else. It's 8:32 in the morning. Mana Silva Tyron's got to look at the last big look at news and headlines this morning. What's on? What are you watching on TikTok? Okay, gotcha.
Guam Congressman Mike St. Nicholas saying that there's great news for Guam and the CNMI. The USCIS has extended in the NDAA the exemption for the H-2B visas, and Guam and the CNMI can apply for labor For housing projects, it's been determined that the housing is a need as part of the military buildup. The death of a man found at Jigo Ranch this last couple of weeks has now been classified a homicide now that an autopsy has been completed. Pat Sakai said to have been stabbed multiple times and suffered blunt force trauma. Also, according to the Guam Daily Post, an autopsy was completed on a man who was found dead in a trash fire in Chalampago. Investigators suspect foul play. Details of the autopsy not released, though. And 4 more COVID-related fatalities reported this morning. All did have underlying health conditions. It brings our COVID fatality number to 303. There was also additional 594 new cases identified out of 1,547 people tested. And there is a virtual oversight hearing this morning with the Guam Mayor's Council. It's actually a roundtable meeting. The mayors will discuss a number of issues to include their village safety. That hearing will be at 2 o'clock via Zoom. And those are your top stories here on The Point.
I got you, 8:33 in the morning, and we got the Rays coming up in a couple of minutes. I don't know that it's time to take a look at traffic. I did get a note from somebody on the meme machine just a little bit ago that said that the intersection of 10 and 15 is like blink mode, all directions, and it's not that good when the thing is working. So imagine that there are going to be some delays and gnashing of teeth as you make your way through that particular intersection. More on the way.
Howdy, folks. KFC's Colonel Sanders here to tell you KFC is bringing a new heat to Guam with the Denancy brand hot sauce. KFC hot comes in 2 ways. The twister is KFC chicken, our famous red rice, pickles, and Denancy wrapped in a toasted tortilla. The Denancy chicken sandwich has an extra crispy quarter-pound white meat fillet, spicy pickles, and Denancy sauce. Now that's hotness done right. Try one or try them both. Available at all KFC restaurants. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
Raise your glasses for a toast because First Hawaiian Bank now turns your meals into a reason to celebrate. Every dollar you spend on dining purchases, including fast food, earns you up to 3 times United miles. Simply use your First Hawaiian Bank United credit card and start reaping the most rewarding credit card experience on island. Terms and restrictions apply. Don't have a First Hawaiian Bank credit card? Visit any branch or FHB.com to apply today. With First Hawaiian Bank, it all starts with yes.
What's that? Portions of the program being brought to you by the guys over at Nissan, Guam.com and the World Wide Web. I give you the website because I want you to go there first. Take a look at all the incredible rides that they've got, 2021s that are on the lot right now that they've got to clear off and make room for the 2022s. How will they do this? What will the enticement be? We'll take a look at your credit. It's probably real good, so we're going to make it so that you can get a loan at 0% APR. It's basically free money. You're not paying for any interest on this thing, or we make it so that we got Brian's going to take care of the first 3 payments. A lady in the back will write you a check for the first 3 payments for the life of the loan, and there's more. If you get good credit, you don't even need to come in with a down payment. I have no idea how they conduct that magic, but they do, and they're expert at it at NissanGuam.com. Get in a fight with your brother?
Many times.
Many times.
Yes.
Have the police ever been called?
Oh, no.
Okay, so
Mom.
Yeah,
Mom stopped everything.
Mom police department. February 8th, about 1:15 in the afternoon, Officer Connor responded to a disturbance in Jigo. Charles Wheeler told Officer Connor, 1, he was changing tires on his car with 2 brothers when a third brother, Robert, hit him in the head with a car jack. After which the brothers restrained him until the police arrived. The victim also told Officer Connor the defendant had been suffering from depression and hallucinations. The defendant admitted hitting the victim with the car jack, but claimed he didn't mean to. It does not appear the defendant has been criminally charged in any other previous cases here. I hope everybody is all right here, but there will be times where, something's going to happen. Why is there the depression and the hallucinations? Is there anything else at play in this story that we need to figure out? 8:37 in the morning, 888-825-5888-TALK. I'm R-A-Y. This is R-E-Y. Buenas and Day, Ray.
Hey, Jen Ray, or is it Ray Jen?
Jen Ray? Oh, instead of, what do they call it? Bennifer, when she was dating, that's not Jennifer Aniston, that's Jennifer Lopez.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just no good with. I'm no good with the gossip. You know, if it happened in pop culture in the last 20 years, I'm sure I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, it sounds nice. Jen Ray, maybe I'll call you that from now on. Hey, I got my bullpup.
You got your what?
My bullpup.
Your pull pop?
Bullpup. Bullpup. You don't know what that is?
Is it a pew pew thing? Is this a gun thing?
Yeah, it's a rifle that sets you back, right? So it's not as long. I got it the other day. Beautiful gun. I'm going to show it to you.
You're not talking about the Roni, are you?
Huh? No, it's an air rifle.
Okay, all right. No, it's all. I'm sorry. First of all, it's a pew pew thing, but it's not really like a gun pew pew thing. It's an air rifle and shoots those kinds of things.
Yeah.
All right. Can we? Is it convertible? Can I make a 22 rifle out of it? I'm gonna go pig hunting with 22 and just.
Well, it is a 22, and you know it's now legal to pretty much. Get a pig with anything because they pushed them out of the what do you call it, the protected species.
Right.
So now they're like so you can pretty much use anything. Normally you need a 357 and above.
You know, the good news here is that you don't need to go too far to find them. It's not like you got to go spend all day humping through the jungle to find a pig. In a lot of cases, the pigs are right there on the street in front of your house.
Speaking about pig, I just sent you a picture a few minutes ago. I shot one this morning.
Just this morning?
Yeah, one less pig to worry about. But there's a lot of them out there. No,
that's an absolute fact. Especially when you've got mangoes hanging off of the tree, fall to the ground. Pigs like that, they like getting into all of the trash and more.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
mango season's coming up. But hey, I just wanted to say, 20th of this month is a key date for people to watch out for. In terms of world events, right?
You sent that to me. You sent that to me yesterday, and I wanted to ask you a little bit more about it. The idea that it's the Russo-Belarus military exercise ends, as well as the Olympics ending at the same time. Now they say that Putin wasn't going to do anything that would detract attention away from the showcase that is the Olympics in China. But once that's done, there really is not that much to hold him back.
Yeah, for our side, the theory is they don't want to mess with the Olympics because that's a big thing for China. So they don't want to take away the PR and all of that. But on the 20th of February also, the Belarusian exercise will end. And that's a key date to watch out for because if the Russians start leaving, and that's one of the reasons why they're saying they amass in that area because they're doing exercises. Yeah. So when they start leaving, that's kind of a sign that maybe things are going to be relaxed a little bit. But if they continue to stay, that could be a problem for us. And then, of course,
it's not.
End,
wait, hold on. It's not in my blind spot, but it has been kind of interesting. There seems to be a whole lot of rhetoric leading us to war that is coming out of Washington, D.C. What we're hearing from the Russians is we're not talking about a full-scale invasion. This is not going to trip off World War number 3.
Well, there's a potential, but there's different levels. It could be a cyber war. It could be a small incursion where they just go over the border and just make a statement and then go back. Or that could set off a lot of other things that could get very ugly.
Okay, well, here's a headline from CNBC this morning, and the headline reads, "Oil will hit $120 a barrel if Russia invades the Ukraine." Strategists are already making those predictions as we speak. So at the dollars and cents of this, when it comes down to people's personal economies, we are already at great peril with the price of West Texas crude hovering around $90. The price of TAP is hovering around $100 already for a barrel of that. The gas prices get much higher. Transportation costs for everything that needs to be sent out of here and then put on trailers and then sent to warehouses and stores here are going to go through the roof.
Yeah, but that's an obvious thing. When there's a prelude, people get jittery, and so it will fluctuate, go up and down, up and down, up and down. That's kind of like understood in terms of the financial markets. And so we need to be ready for that. And of course, if war does break out, everything's going to skyrocket. Not because it's going to disrupt world order. Logistics, transportation, everything. People's hopes and dreams for the future. Everything is going to be totally disrupted, and so we need to prepare for that.
Sometimes I think the 2 years with the mismanagement of COVID-19 around the world, I got a feeling that's going to be the prelude. It will be the practice for a coming hard time.
Yeah, well, look at everything that's happening with COVID as well. Everybody just throwing their arms up and saying, "Hey, screw it." I'm sorry.
But I don't disagree with that. I think we are at the end stage of the pandemic version of COVID-19. We've got to get to an endemic situation that we can live with, and it starts with once upon a time, the theory is we're going to make restrictions. We're going to make it so Ray Gibson can't go eat inside that restaurant because COVID-19. Well, what the hell's the point now? We've got the Omicron version of COVID-19 that is spreading like wildfire through every community that it touches. The idea that there is still any kind of attempt at flattening a curve or slowing its spread is ridiculous.
We're over 300 deaths in Guam, and the hospital is at its max ever, right? In terms of people in the hospital, and we're not talking about relaxing. So I think people are tired of it, and they wanna emphasize on something else. Hopefully, it's not in a negative way, but it is kind of scary, and it's in our lifetime. We just have to.
There's a lot of bad things that have happened in our lifetime. The Carter administration, as an example, and we had Super Typhoon Pamela on Guam. We had a big earthquake here on Guam. We've been through the wars, and we've come out okay. I did put your picture up on the screen just before I get to Chanel. I'm going to put it back up on the screen here. Obviously, there is -1 pig here on Guam as a result of some early morning shooting. And this was the gun that you used. What kind of gun is that?
Oh, that's a shotgun. The next time I'm going to use my PCP and the bullpup, and I'll show it to you. I was thinking about bringing it, but yeah, and the owner.
Let's not do that. There's some people here in the staff of the radio station would freak out if somebody was walking around with some kind of a firearm. Hey, listen, I gotta let you run, Ray.
Yeah.
I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Ray.
Interesting conversations about pigs. Peter wanted to talk about that. But Peter, if you do me a favor, let me indulge me some time with Chanel from the Department of Public Health and Social Services. Word is that we've got all kinds of supplies that are making their way to Guam, especially supplies that we need for testing in this community. Good morning, Chanel.
Hi, good morning, Ray. How are you?
I'm okay. Were you at the airport picking up the test kits?
No, I got locked out of my truck this morning and managed to finally get a spare key.
What? You got locked out of your car? What kind? I'm not gonna bug you about what kind of car you drive, but I thought you drive a car maybe with one of those electronic key fobs where you press a button and the door opens, or you cannot lock yourself out of the car.
I thought that was, these trucks these days, I thought it won't do that, but apparently this truck that I have, it's a newer model too, and it locked me out of my truck as I was getting gas.
Oh my God! Yeah, a bad thing to happen. But you're a young, attractive woman here, and I'm sure that you had no problem finding a knight in shining armor to bail you out. Chanel?
Yeah,
I was paying you a compliment. As a young, attractive woman here, you should not have had a problem finding a white knight to bail you out of that nightmare.
Oh no, I had my a relative bring me a spare key, so I'm good.
So
I'm good
now we need to embellish. You used to be in the news business, and I know that we generally don't embellish in the news business. But since it's just me and you talking, next time say, you know what, Ray, I was able to get in because I used my elbow to smash the window, and was able to get into the car that way.
Oh no, I wouldn't do that. Not to this truck.
No, we don't like doing that. All right, but getting back to the genesis of the phone call here, it looks like things are beginning to light at the end of the rationing tunnel as you're getting more of the test gear that you need for the community flying in.
Yes, indeed. So a couple days ago, we did receive some test supplies. And so we received about 8,500, and that set our balance at about 15,000, our testing capacity at 15,000. And then we are anticipating another shipment of about 70,000 test kits, and that's a mix of PCR and antigen tests. So we'll be able to loosen up our testing ability. And I don't have a confirmed date, but we're hoping in the next week or so we'll be able to test more people. And so we'll re-strategize our testing strategy, or test stratification. But right now, it remains status quo in terms of who we're testing. And so those are symptomatic people and, of course, the high-risk close contact.
Right. And if you spend any time listening to this program, that you know I've been saying for since the beginning that those were the people that we should have concentrated on anyway. Symptomatic and folks that are in higher risk categories need to be tested. I think more than anybody else that's just kind of out of curiosity wants to find out if I've got a booger. Is it COVID-19? At any rate, so our estimates now. Do we have any estimates on the number of non-antigen and PCR tests? I'm talking about the ones that Biden sent from China. Any estimates on how many of those we have on Guam?
I don't have an estimate of those particular tests. You're talking about non-COVID related tests?
No, they're COVID tests, but you swab inside the nostril, and then you put it in this bucket of reagent, and then it goes onto a test strip, and in 15 minutes you'll know whether you got COVID or not. It's the one that I did to confirm it, and the interesting thing is they were made available to. Yeah, the at-home test. They were made available to millions and millions and millions of Americans in around the nation, but they don't actually come with anything. It's like you do the test, but there's no connection between you testing at home and Public Health and Social Services or these JIC reports. So I'm kind of curious as to if there's an estimate on how many of these at-home test kits that we've got, and any message that Public Health wanted to send out to the community. If you do test positive, I don't know, like call somebody, give Art a call, and let him know that you're positive, so that we can keep an accurate count on just how quickly this thing is spreading.
Yeah, so we have been putting out the message even before the tests were supposed to be sent out.
Oh, I hadn't seen it. Okay.
And Guam. We did. I think it was 2 weeks before the shipment of those at-home tests were supposed to go out by the USPS. And the reporting is pretty much similar to how we ask our testing partners to report it, which is to send it to our surveillance branch, whether you're positive or negative. And so if you are positive, then obviously, we ask you to isolate immediately and to look out for symptoms, monitor your symptoms.
Right.
If you need to isolate, then we already issued out the isolation numbers to contact our isolation facility, and then monitor your symptoms. That if they're severe, contact your physician or go to an emergency room if you see signs and symptoms of severe disease. But the important thing to note is if you're positive, I think that's the most important thing, is that, we ask you and we highly encourage you to report that to Public Health, because for private providers, it is a requirement that within 24 hours of a positive case, it has to be reported to Public Health.
So if I send you a text message, is that good enough?
We do ask you to send it via email to Public Health. A text message, it's a little difficult to report that, to maintain that in our records. But, if you send it to me directly, then I might have to I'll probably ask you to report it officially, and give you the email address to report it officially.
Oh, I gotcha.
I do know that you tested positive recently. I don't know if you officially reported that. There may be some cases.
I said it on the radio. I think that was as official as I got with my version of COVID-19, and it was the easy one. It was the Omicron, obviously, and I think the hardest part of it was 101 fever and a sore throat over a couple of days. But other than that, I made it through and lived to tell the tale of my participation in the pandemic, which I believe now is over.
I'm glad you recovered and that you had relatively mild symptoms.
And so I'm wondering, based on my experience here, and I know that everybody's different, but based on my experience, wouldn't now be the appropriate time to determine that we are in endemic stage? I mean, for heaven's sakes, Ray Gibson's finally got the Omicron. We're endemic at this point, and maybe it no longer makes any kind of sense to try to slow the spread of even the Omicron.
Well, I don't think declaring endemic stage is based on one person's experience. I think.
But no, I'm important enough to do that. I'm somebody in this town. You know, we used to work together. We've had conversations like this in the past. 8:52 in the morning. Well, I'm delighted that things are moving in that direction. Now, what about other forms of therapies and things like that? Again, obviously, those are being rationed out to folks. But if somebody older than me with comorbidity shows up with the Omicron, what treatments are available for them these days?
So a couple days ago, we did run out of sotrovimab. That is the IV infusion, monoclonal antibodies. We did place an order. So, again, I don't have the confirmed date of when those IV infusions will arrive.
It's coming in with my Stitch Fix. So I got a batch of clothes coming in from the States, and no doubt in that box there will be some of these other therapies. And did we get any more of those little pills that they're handing out to people?
We still have the molnupiravir as well as the Paxlovid pills, and we did place more orders for the therapeutic pills as well. So we're still doing that, and we have partnered with pharmacies throughout the island for distribution of those pills. I do just want to ensure that people are aware that they do need to get a prescription from their physicians to be able to avail of the pills. So don't just show up to a pharmacy and ask for it. You do need to get a prescription for the pills. And so right now we do have therapeutics available. But again, please consult with your physician and your doctor.
Right. Yeah, and the supplies are limited, obviously, on this kind of thing. So you've got to be in a very specific category to be eligible for those. 8:54 in the morning. And one last question before I let you run here. Today is the day. There are a lot of people that are really, really excited because today is the day that if you are unless they've made a change in the last minute, if you are vaccinated and you have a negative PCR in the last 48 hours, welcome to the Philippines. No quarantine required. Is that a big topic of conversation among Carreras and other members of the Pinoy community here?
Oh, absolutely. Everybody and their mom wants to go to the Philippines. I mean, I've got people from my community, from the Filipino community, just wanting to travel.
Sure. But it's expensive. I don't know that Philippine Airlines is adding any additional seats between here and there. And the prices that I saw from the United website this morning, word is prohibitive. If you wanted to go through Narita, it cost you almost $6,000 to get there.
Wow.
Yeah, wow. But now, granted, it's business, but even still, business with a stop in Narita, significant expenses to get out there. Is that also a topic of conversation among my Pinoy friends?
Wow. I think there are some who, as soon as they found out that they removed the quarantine requirement, they started booking those flights right away. So there are probably limited seats available, but I think they started booking right away. So I know a lot of Filipinos who are itching to travel and probably have already booked it. Wow.
Yeah, right. Yeah, take a look at the website. Go to united.com and see what they're charging these days for airplane rides. Now, like I said, that's the one with the stop in Narita. I was also looking at prices just south of $600 in economy, and I think that's for the 8 o'clock flight tonight out there.
That is thievery.
Well, there's a limited number of seats and a limited number of flights to get out there, and you're right, there's a whole lot of demand for this kind of thing. Now, I have obviously not been back to the Philippines since January of 2020. Based on what you hear and based on what you know, what's it like on the ground when we get to the Philippines? I mean, are there still restaurants that are open as big as they were before? Can we go and get a shave ice or treats over at MOA? What's it like on the ground there?
I do have a couple friends that are planning to fly to the Philippines. So, and I've actually asked them, can you please, give me a full report?
Right.
What's the scene like? What the eateries are like? What the party scene might be like? I want to know too, because I haven't been back to the Philippines in over 2 years.
Yeah, and I think you and I were running around there at about the same time, the holidays of 2019 and 2020, I want to go back, but I don't. If they're talking about $1,000 airplane rides, I don't want to go back and just here. There's the lobby bar. There you go. There's your entertainment. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think I'll probably wait till we reach endemic stage.
Yeah. Well, Well, it could going to happen soon. Remember, there's big elections that are taking place this year in the Philippines as well.
Oh, yeah.
8:57 and change. Chanel, it's always fun talking with you. More fun in person. I'm still waiting for that beer over at venue.
Yeah. Get your shot.
Blah, 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 blah. Hey, I got to go. I'll talk to you later. You have a great day. 8:57 and change. Now, earlier we were talking about pigs. Pete wanted to drop in a comment about pigs on Guam. Go ahead, bud.
Hey, bro. First, I identify as a young, attractive female, and I drive a smart truck that you can't lock yourself out of. A smart truck, not a... She drives a dumb truck.
But a terrible thing for something like that to happen. I mean, it's a slow start to your day when you realize, and this happens to me all the time. I like to think that I'm the smartest guy in the room, and spent all day yesterday. I was going to go meet up with some friends in Agana, and it took me 10 minutes to find the keys to the car because they weren't in my bag, my man purse.
And they were in your pocket. Probably.
They were actually in my pocket. The last place I looked was in my pocket, and I realized, maybe this is one of those things. Maybe I shouldn't drive.
Yeah, I thought I left my wallet at Home Depot yesterday, and I drove back like a maniac, and then it was in my wallet. I mean, my pocket.
My God.
So, anyways, I just wanted to make a very important clarification to what Ray said. They did declassify the pigs, but you still cannot use just any weapon when you're in a residential area. You got to make sure there's only limited areas where you could use rifles and .22s. You can't use that in the residential areas.
I see. Well, I appreciate the clarification. I don't want people just kind of walking around the villages with a gun looking for a pig. Could stir up some alarm.
I've caught a couple of them, and I'm training them, and then I'm going to start a new cultural practice, Ray. We're going to have pig fights in the future, since we can't have cockfights.
Amen to that, but Pedro, I don't have a problem with that at all. We'll start with Colin Clark's pig, Ray Ray.
Yeah, if you win, you get the money. If you lose, you get fritada.
As it's always been, my brother. As it's always been. I'll talk to you pretty soon. Estamigo, 888-8255. Keep that number handy. Another incredible hour of the Ray Gibson Show. And next hour, we'll learn everything there is to know about the fascinating and quickly growing sport here on Guam of pickleball. Stay right there. You'll want to hear this. It's 9 at Fox News.
Data hasn't changed. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. That's what federal health officials are saying as a number of states are quickly changing masking guidance.
CDC Director Rochelle Walensky said they're preparing guidance, but
our hospitalizations are still high. Our death rates are still high. So as we work towards that and as we are encouraged by the current trends, we are not there yet.
New Jersey, Delaware, Connecticut, and Oregon are lifting mask mandates in coming weeks, including in schools. California's lifting an indoor mask mandate next week for those who are vaccinated, and New York's governor has lifted an indoor mask mandate as well, though California and New York's shift does not apply to schools. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
The House committee investigating the January 6th Capitol riot has subpoenaed former White House trade advisor Peter Navarro. The committee is requesting information and testimony from Navarro, who they say was involved in efforts to delay certification of the 2020 election results. President Biden continuing to push for green energy, meeting today with CEOs of several utility companies to talk about energy alternatives like solar and wind power.
I think this is the beginning of God willing, a new era in the generation of electricity and fundamentally clean up the environment.
Green energy is part of the president's Build Back Better program, though the legislation has stalled in the Senate. Yesterday, the president was in Tennessee promoting an Australian company that's building an electric car charging factory. 16 years in prison for a Colorado mother who prosecutors say fatally abused her 7-year-old daughter and lied about her health to get money from charities. Kelly Turner had pled guilty last month to child abuse, charitable fraud, and theft. Authorities say Turner lied to doctors about her daughter's medical history while broadcasting her struggles to get money and other favors from charities. Wall Street, the Dow added 305, the NASDAQ plus 295, the S&P gained 65. America is listening to Fox News.
Need to finish the job or start one the right way? Get the right stuff at East West Rental Center. You can switch to easy mode using industrial strength equipment. With years of experience helping builders, East West Rental gives you exactly what you need. Tools for landscaping, concrete, lifts, trucks, tables, tents, chairs, water blasters, excavators, forklifts, air compressors, and more. Call East West Rental Center at 646-1463 or visit them in Upper Dumont. Open Monday to Saturday from 7 to 5, Sundays 8 to 5.
Everyone has a busy schedule these days, and sometimes we forget to schedule our routine dental checkup and cleaning. Don't neglect your dental health. Schedule one today with Dr. Robert Yang and his Smile team, conveniently located at the East West Business Center on Marine Drive, Upper Dumont. Call us today at 647-8702 or 3. Again, that's 647-8702 or 647-8703. We make smiles happen.
The man convicted in the D.C. sniper case when he was a teenager is hoping for parole in one of the 2 states where he was sentenced to life in prison.
Lee Boyd Malvo was just 17 when he, along with the much older John Allen Muhammad, terrorized Washington, D.C.'s suburbs 20 years ago by shooting at random people while concealed in the trunk of a car. He was sentenced to life in prison by both Virginia and Maryland, but since then, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled sentencing juveniles to life with no parole is unconstitutional. And while Virginia has since lessened its sentence for Malvo, Maryland hasn't. Malvo is now 37 years old, and his lawyer says he's a changed person and deserves the chance to one day be set free. Eben Brown, Fox News.
John Allen Muhammad was executed in 2009. McDonald's is bringing back a holiday favorite later this month.
The Shamrock Shake is returning to the fast food giant at participating restaurants nationwide for a limited time starting on February the 21st. It'll be joined by the Oreo Shamrock McFlurry, which first debuted in February of 2020 in honor of the Shake's 50th anniversary. The Shamrock Shake was created in 1967 by Hal Rosen, a Connecticut McDonald's owner and operator who made the seasonal dessert for St. Patrick's Day. It made its debut in select locations across the country in 1970.
Fox's Hillary Barsky. Punk rock pioneer Iggy Pop is set to be honored in Sweden with the Polar Music Prize for what the award panel says is creating furious rock music by blending together blues and free jazz influences with the roar of the Michigan automotive industry. Iggy Pop, real name James Osterberg, hails from Detroit, where he began fronting the band The Stooges, which is considered an influence on groups like the Ramones and Sex Pistols. The 74-year-old said winning the prize, which includes a cash prize, the equivalent of about $110,000, a nice step. He'll be honored in Stockholm in May. I'm Lisa Lacera. This is Fox News.
What's a better way to celebrate Valentine's Day than celebrating it at Mescla with their 3-course meal? Starting off your meal with a salad appetizer, followed by a main entree of your choice, and of course, to top it all off, to make Valentine's as sweet as the day itself, a melting lava cake with vanilla ice cream and caramel sauce. So what are you waiting for? Call them at 671-649-2652 or visit mesclaguam.com for reservations. See you there.
Choosing health insurance for my family is difficult. I need to know our health insurance will protect us now and in the future. Take Care members have access to the island's largest offering of free fitness classes and health education programs, and a high-quality credentialed network of on- and off-island healthcare providers, including the convenient one-stop FHP Health Center and urgent care. My family choose Take Care. Your family should also consider choosing Take Care. Call 671-647-3526 for more information. Take Care, our island, your health plan.
Check out the newest hydro and garden center to hit Guam, Crop King Hydro. We have a huge selection of plant nutrients, soils, hydroponic mediums, organic pest control pumps, plant support, tools, and so much more. Call 635-4769. 635-GROW. Open Monday through Saturday, 10 to 6 at the Dededo Satina Mall, right across from Payless and Paradise Fitness. For whatever you grow, think Crop King Hydro. Crop King Hydro. 9:06, portions of the program being brought to you by our friends over at American President Lines. APL, global presence with a local home. Where's the pickleball people, bro? Thought they was here. We'll get around to doing that in a couple of minutes. Real Joe reminded me that I still have that giveaway, a couple of roses, like 3 roses to give away from Mama Tove over at Tove's Flower Shop, where they're geared up, as they usually do at this time of year, for, in my head, I almost said Halloween. Valentine's is... likewise, can for some people in certain relationships can also be just as scary. But get yourself prepared. Make the reservations. Call in your order at 671-646-4132. A quick note before I get into the contest. Maria Gutierrez, from the Ed Board, your Facebook has been hacked.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Because I got a friend request, and I'm like, thought we were already friends, but okay, yeah, confirm that. And it's the hello, how are you doing?
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's not a dead giveaway. Because it would not be hello, how are you doing? Hafaramon is how any greeting from Marie Gutierrez to me would be. Yeah, Hafaramon, what are you doing there? Now you just get on the radio and just keep talking and you're not even making sense. So, Maria, attack your face. I have no idea what you're supposed to do in situations along those lines. We'll just have to see how that plays out. Now, I've got the giveaway. And I'll be looking for a winner on Facebook. Maybe tomorrow I'll be looking for a winner on YouTube. But today I'm looking for a winner on Facebook. Hopefully that we're all friends and you're liking and following the page. And you'll be able to remark with the correct answer to this question. Love in the 1970s, and specifically in 1970s television shows. My name is Ray Gibson, and I don't refer to myself as a baby boomer. In fact, most baby boomers consider me, the kind of the runt of the litter here and in the demographics, because I was born so late in the baby boomer generation. I was born in 1962. I am at the end of that spectrum, and often find myself at odds with the way other boomers have lived their lives. But having said that, now in the 1970s, the demographers began to refer to people in my age group as this was in the 90s. But they began to refer to people in my edge of the baby boomers, not as baby boomers, but as Brady boomers. We and people in my age group are more inclined to identify with the family that was the Brady Bunch. And it's from the Brady Bunch that I get today's question. In order to win, you'll have to remember a minor detail about love from the Brady Bunch. Are you ready, Real Joe?
Oh, I'm so ready. Yeah. Here's a story
of a lovely lady. Now, there was a character, my favorite character, one of my original TV crushes was Alice from the Brady Bunch.
No, your crush, Ray.
Oh, my God, the hair. The
hair? The poof?
He's standing up there. And B. Davis, from the Brady Bunch. Your question is, who was Alice's boyfriend? Oh, it's in your head now. Who was Alice from the Brady Bunch? Now,
the milkman.
Careful now. Careful. You'll accidentally blurt out the correct answer. You got to know it, and this is one of those things where by the time you're done Googling it, somebody will come up with the answer. What do we got here? Sandra Regis, Brady Bunch. They both had 3 kids. Here's our winner today. Nick Perlosky.
Oh, wow, Nick.
Oh, wait, yeah. Nick Perlosky is chiming in before anybody else. It was Sam the Butcher.
Oh, yeah.
There, you getting it now? Sam the Butcher. Because she always had to go and get enough meat to make a meatloaf for like a dozen people. You remember the premise of the program. So I say congratulations to you, Nick Perlosky. I already, and every day for Nick is Valentine's Day with him and his wife. Colin Clark says, that'll do, pig. That'll do. That's nice. Sam the Butcher, Sarita Garin says Sam. Sheila Morgan chiming in, Sam the Butcher, and everybody's going to get. I didn't realize that it was that much of a common knowledge thing that everybody kind of knew. But yeah, Sam the Butcher was Alice's squeeze in the Brady Bunch, and that's all we need to know about that. So Real Joe, right click, let him know that we're going to send to Mama Tove today his Nick Perlosky's name.
You got it.
And it'll be waiting for him over at that place. Get it before it gets to be too late on Friday. 9:11 in the morning. And in the studio right now, love this. Old friend of mine, emphasis on we've been friends going back to the 1980s and have been knocking around in a bunch of different places, different organizations and groups that we belonged in, including the Rotary Club, etc. I got Ronnie Connolly in the studio. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Ray. I'm excited about our new sport on Guam.
Well, first of all, do you ever slow down? You've been going at top speed since I've known you, and always organizing all kinds of different things, and always been keeping yourself busy. So, what's your secret?
Oh, I think I'd be afraid to get bored.
Always keeping things in motion, and that's one of the things that I've always liked about you. One of the unfortunate things that we've been unable to do that I've always associated you with is the run for the troops. And every year, you know, there's something going on down over at the old USO, and would send 500 people up the street and then back and have a great time giving away some great prizes. In fact, the last time we did the run for the heroes, I placed in that race. I think first or second place in that race. And there hasn't been any good 5K since then.
I know, and I'm ready.
Right?
Yeah, I just the thought of doing long distance running is like overwhelming. So, you know, 5K on Saturday morning is like perfect.
Yes, I know exactly what you mean. And here's my problem. And I don't know if you can tell, but I'm wearing extra larger shirts these days because I put on what I refer to as the COVID-19. It's almost exactly 19 pounds that I put on in the last couple of years. And most of that comes from, and I freely admit it, is I just don't have I'm not motivated to get up there and do any other than life-sustaining running. Forget about it, because we haven't had competitive events.
Right, that's exactly right. And but now you have pickleball, and you're going to love it.
Okay, so you got it. And so last week she comes by and leaves a couple of things for me. So we could talk about this on the radio. It's pickleball, and I'm going, you made this up. There's no such thing as pickleball, but apparently it is growing in attention here on Guam. What exactly is pickleball?
Well, pickleball is a makeup of it's the size of a badminton court, and it's a net like a tennis net but shorter, and then the paddle is twice the size as a ping pong. So it's a very kind of fast moving, it can be, both social and very competitive. It is what you want it to be, and the best thing is you can play it anywhere. So if you have a driveway that can fit a badminton court, or you can one of the community service places that might have asphalt, and so my of course thing is trying to get some of the villages to convert these courts that haven't been used
in a while. So I'm thinking in my head, we take a regular tennis court and then stand it on its side, and maybe you've got room in there for a couple of pickleballs.
Yeah, I can put 4 pickleball courts on one tennis court.
So much more effective use of the space.
Yeah, and the thing that's fun, it becomes more multifunction for these courts that sit idle. You know, like in the States right now, what you're seeing is many of the tennis courts are now multi-use courts.
Yeah.
And it's the fastest growing sport in the United States. And it's 4.2 million people were playing as of 2021.
How did it get started? How did it develop? I mean, was it a bunch of guys sitting around?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah,
basically. So in 1965 up in Bainbridge Island, they were sitting around, like you say, and they were in the garage, and the person there put some stuff together, and they said, oh, what should we call this sport? And their dog's name was Pickle, so they decided to call it pickleball.
Yeah, the story that I would have used is, alcohol was involved, and so after a couple of guys get creative with all of this stuff, that's how we get the pickleball name. So it goes back to the 1960s.
Yeah, 65 actually, and then it didn't have much of really momentum, but now it's like crazy. It's amazing. I just went to the regionals in Costa Mesa, and there were 1,500 participants on 44 courts for 7 days.
Now, is there a regional kind of emphasis on rules or kinds of states of play? Are there Queen's rules of pickleball in England as it may be?
The rules are pretty much followed the International Federation of Pickleball, which Guam is a part of, as a 59th country whose vision is the Olympic movement. Is that rule book follows the rules for all and is used for all ruling.
Okay, so it's not like playing Monopoly. Every family's got a different way to play. No. So it's the same game wherever you happen to play.
If you're playing socially, of course you adjust. But if you're playing competitively, it's pretty straightforward, and I can tell you being a referee is really difficult.
Also, it's a ref kind of sport as well.
Oh, yes. Yeah, and these championships are all refed.
Okay, so you're talking about a solid piece of asphalt, concrete, or something like that, and I'm kind of curious because, this is a beach town. Is there any way that you can play or modify pickleball for sand?
It wouldn't. It would be very difficult because you have a two-bounce rule.
Yeah, okay.
And because the ball itself is a wiffle ball, meaning it has holes in it, it wouldn't bounce
we should have started there. I mean, there's an incredible amount of complications that go with that because you only get a little bit of juice no matter how hard you hit a wiffle ball.
But you'll be amazed at the speed of which, I mean, it gets up to 60 miles an hour.
All right, so it is a net game and a shorter net than tennis.
Right.
So I'm in my mind I'm thinking it's like ping pong.
It's not shorter.
There's a little
not
bit of,
as high as.
I see.
And of course it's shorter, but it's only 34 inches as versus 36. But it's we play right now at GNTC, and they have great junior courts that they've been kind enough to actually line for pickleball. So it's been very fun for us, and that's what we're really trying to do is get courts around here, and that's why we're having this inaugural event.
Okay, and we'll get around to doing that in a second. I went to YouTube and found a video of people that are playing pickleball right now, and it looks exactly like a tennis court that's been shrunk a little bit, and they've got the little rackets, as you said, about a little bit more than double the size of a ping pong racket.
Yes.
Do we buy them at Hornet? Are they available here on Guam?
Yes,
Special order?
actually, Goodies has them. I'm trying to get Hiko to get them as well. And Hornet does a very good job and very gracious with our association. So that's pretty much where you get it right now. I'm sure as the sport becomes, more popular, we'll have more things available. But what's interesting, I had 7 people join up last week, and none of them have ever played, and they've already bought rackets.
Everything that it's like any other sport. I mean, it's easy to play, impossible to master, I'm going to say.
Exactly. That is the perfect statement. You can get very good very quick, but mastering it is a whole different ballgame.
I'm looking at this, I'm a former tennis player. I just stopped getting good after a while and just decided this is going to be one of those things that I watch. But with the pickleball, are there things like you can point the ball exactly where you want it to go, so you can locate it on the other court? Can you put English? Is there spin? Is there top spin? Is there that kind of thing that you can affect on the
yeah,
Whipple?
and as you're looking at that, you'll see a line straight across about 7 feet from the net, and that's called the kitchen. And in that kitchen there, you're not allowed to be in there unless the ball bounces. And so that's where the strategy of the game comes. And the more advanced way of playing is just like a chess set. And you try to place your shots so that you cause the opponent to pop it up, and then you put it away.
So now the other things that I'm thinking of, how do we start the play? Is there a serve that you do, underhand, overhand?
But it's an underhand serve. And the racket, see, it's my tennis coming out. The paddle cannot go above the waist, so it's low to high, but you have to hit the ball below your waist, and then it goes cross court just like tennis. It has to bounce one on the opponent's side, then they hit it back, it has to bounce again. It's called the 2-bounce rule. And then after that, it's everybody for themselves.
When we play tennis, it's game, set, match here. How do we score? How do we determine a winner in pickleball?
Only the server can make a point. So that... Yes, so if you're, that's the only way you make a point, and so it's pretty clear after that. The serving gets a little confusing because it starts like if there's 2 people. If you have 2 people, it starts at 002 to start, and you're wondering why it wouldn't start at 001. So then 002 starts it, and then you go to the other side, and that person is a 1, and so then it goes back and forth. If he misses or faults, then his partner, and then it goes back. So it's very quick. Like most of the time,
what do you got to get to? I mean, is it like
most
volleyball?
places play to 11, and then like in our tournament, it'll be till 15, and then some places play it at 21 or as little as 7.
So, but that's it. That's you just play up to this number, and it's win or lose. We're not doing best of 7 sets or anything like that.
Well, we will do the best of 3 in the semifinals for the tournament.
Okay.
But leading up to that, it'll be a single. Double elimination.
I'm trying to think in my head of who's going to be predisposed to picking up this game fastest, because it sounds like it's got parts of all kinds of other games, tennis and ping pong and whatever. Are there people that they say coming from tennis that just grab it and that this is my new game?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and especially especially if you have any injuries, because you don't have that running to do. So you learn a lot faster, and it's not only faster and easier on your joints because you're not kind of covering so much area as you would on with other racket sports. So, but the interesting factor, the largest percentage of people that are now playing pickleball between the age of 8 and 34. And so that's about 28% of the people that are playing worldwide. And so, a lot of people think, oh, this is an old person sport, but many people that get on just love it and just gravitate it to.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, this sounds like one of those fun things that you can do. You get a couple of pylons out there and a couple of the rackets and some wiffle balls, and take this out to the school at lunchtime and teach the kids this new sport, and literally something that they can, almost put together their own kit for and play anywhere.
Yes, and that's what our objective is as an association. Is part of our mission statement is to bring this. The sport to the school. And because the thought is that with the Olympic movement is what the International Federation of Pickleball is pushing, if Guam will become part of that when we get approved to be an Olympic sport. So if you can imagine that if we have all these kids learning at a younger age, then by the time the movement is real to Guam, they're ready to play and be competitive. But the big thing, too, we're not just pushing competition here. Fun thing would be to have a barbecue, have your friends over, bring a net.
I'm thinking exactly that. The great social opportunities for doing something like this. And, it's like you can go to the tennis courts if you want to, and, sometimes you get that feeling like, hey, Mafia, we're going to play tennis and do all of that stuff, and you got to make the reservations and, time period for you and your guys. Well, in this case, it's literally a sport that you can pick up and do virtually anywhere.
Yeah, and have it in your car. You have a net, a couple of paddles, and you go to your friend's house and you just start playing. And then what you'll find is once people play, they just say it's so much fun. So, and it's a good social game, good for seniors, kids, families, everything. It's a
as
win-win.
I said, just keep the ball moving at whatever age. This sounds like a whole lot of fun. And as you pointed out earlier, and one of the reasons for this conversation, my own personal education on a new sport that might be fun to go out there, certainly to play, but even just to sit around and watch it go might be a good time for a lot of people. So you've got a big tournament coming up?
Well, we have our first. We've only been doing this now 6 months, so we're called the Pickleball Guam Association, and so we have started. We're having our first kind of random draw tournament and inaugural membership drive, which is this Saturday and Sunday. Actually, Saturday after 3 o'clock starts the tournament, but between 1:30 and 3 is sign up, and then the finals will be on Sunday with medals and
T-shirts and the usual stuff here. So 3 o'clock matches start 3 o'clock tomorrow. Sorry, Saturday. Tomorrow Mayor's office is and the courts over there.
Yes, we tape all the courts.
Okay, and so how do I sign up? Because it sounds like it's something I could learn tonight and then play in the tournament over the weekend.
Yes, you could. But
you could.
You could, but the actual tournament is closed. We actually did the draw last night. But the thing is, like you were saying earlier, it might be a fun thing just to go see what this is all about. And we'll have a couple of courts where people say, oh, I'd like to try this. And so we'll tape another 2 courts where people can just go hit and just try it out. And so that'll be fun. And then the competition, as I say, will be at 3 o'clock, and we have mixed doubles, men's doubles, and women's doubles.
What about the refs and lines people?
Well, the thing is, it's an honor system, and
I'm out. That's it. Me and Real Joe out. Sorry, I'm kidding. But I imagine at the finals you'll be up on a ref chair.
Yeah, well, there'll be people walking around to help people if they're having a problem with the line calls or whatever. But the big thing about this, it's all about sportsmanship, and it's very important about the honor system. And people will, if you're standing in the kitchen, they're going to tell you you're in the kitchen.
Right. I'm assuming sunscreen should be available for everybody because it's. I got a feeling it's going to be one of those sunny couple of days for you. I hope it's no rain.
Yes.
How bad does rain mess up the play? I mean, it sounds like it's something that you might be. It's not like a tennis ball that you got to wait until the court dries off.
You'll be amazed. So what happens is that if we can't mark or tape the court, then we have rubber markers, and so everybody that comes out, if it starts raining, they just keep playing.
Yeah, smart move, and a great way to do that. Don't have to worry about squeegeeing courts or anything like that. I'm going to assume, because you're in charge here, Ronnie, that you've already made the appropriate overtures to the Department of Public Health and Social Services and everybody, and there will be mitigations in effect.
Well, we're asking everybody to have a mask if you're outside. And then, of course, when you're playing, you don't have to.
Thank goodness.
Yeah,
okay. All right. So a little bit of common sense already in this. So people that want to go by and take a look at it starting at 3 o'clock in the afternoon on Saturday, Tamuning Mayor's office. And then, as you said, there's a federation and association that you've got here on Guam. Is there a website, a Facebook page folks can get to?
Yeah, so actually it's called the Pickleball Guam Association because we didn't want to be GPA.
That name.
And so we're a 501c3, so actually registered.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
This is
and
serious.
We're the newest federation in Guam for a long time, and we're part of the International Federation of Pickleball worldwide.
Okay.
So we've kind of jumped through the hoops that way. And so if you want to join, you just can go on the web, actually on the Facebook page and also Instagram. And we'll be taking applications for membership all on both Saturday and Sunday. And it's $40 for the membership for the whole year, and which basically is a little over $3 a month, which is nothing. And and it'll give you discounts in the normal membership benefits.
So have you gotten Torgan on the court yet?
No. I'm trying though. Torgan's very open and
Well, he's a hell of a racket sport guy, and always has been since he was a little kid.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of curious as to, is this something where obviously we were talking about the migration from one sport to another.
Yes.
If you've already got a net or racket game in your head, this is one of those things that you've already got. Your injuries are already built in.
Yes. Yeah, and they actually have the junior courts that they've lined for us, so we can play there during the daytime, but there's no lights. So at 6 o'clock, it's kind of like the lights are out. And so we can play in again.
Night pickleball sounds like it could be a thing, in the darkness.
And the new badminton place is, beautiful, beautiful badminton courts. And the pickleball people are all playing up there because it's the same line.
Right. How much fun is all of this? Pickleball, the information is out there and available. If you want to know a little bit more about the tournament, pick up a copy of today's PDN. Everything is covered on the back pages and a couple of internal pages. Now, I've got to ask, because it's one of those things, and, does like Lululemon already have, the kits for the ladies? Because there's no sports that are fun for women unless you can go out and buy a new wardrobe and a new ensemble, if you will, for the sport. Now, you're wearing an optic yellow outfit. Is that an approved Under Armour pickleball shirt and hat?
No, not really. Actually, I'm feel like I'm lucky because I have all the tennis clothes. And so, so it's been a crossover. But when I've been at when I was at the tournament, you'll find a whole line of clothing.
Oh, I'm sure.
And a whole line of shoes.
Oh, shoes.
Yes.
Is there a difference in the makeup of the court shoe?
Well, I think so. Yes, they're sturdier in the front. And so there's pickleball socks, there's, you name it.
Of course there is, and for everything. Ronnie, what a delight seeing you again. It's been a while. It seems like, all of the familiar faces have been behind masks and lockdowns over the last couple of years, and I'm glad to see that you found a new endeavor, something to keep you ocpied, something else to keep you occupied.
Yes, yeah, and it's good for Guam.
Have you been talking to Running Club about maybe starting up a conversation about 5Ks? You've been in touch with them?
they
because nobody does that race better than you.
Yeah. They have the virtual run that Kathy's doing at Kick the Fat, and so I don't know, but there's nothing like getting out there and having a real race.
Yes, I mean the competitive juices have to flow. Jerome McDonald asking, is there pickleball shampoo and soap? I don't put it past them. I'm serious. I don't see why there wouldn't be.
Yeah, we could. That's a good idea. Guam's only.
Why not? Why not? Listen, as I said, delight seeing you and having you in the studio. For the next one, don't bother asking about coming by. Just come by, make contact with Real Joe, and we'll slot you in.
Okay, I appreciate it, Ray. It's always great to see you.
Looking forward to it.
I love your energy.
Oh, thank you. Well, it hasn't
We'll
gone
see you
away.
Saturday.
Yeah, very good chance that you will. It's at 3 o'clock in the afternoon on Saturday, starting everything off over at the Tamuning Mayor's office and the courts that they've got out there. It sounds like it's going to be a spectacle. Sounds like some of the usual suspects are going to be out there trying their hand at a new sport for trophies and medals. 9:32 in the morning. More of the Ray Gibson Show on the other side of these.
Half a day, this is Congressman Nicholas. While local COVID-19 testing has unfortunately become less available lately, there are 4 free at-home federally available COVID tests that you can have to test yourselves and your families as needed. Please contact your congressional office at 671-475-6453 or at michael.snicholas@mail.house.gov to find out how we can help you access those tests.
This ad was paid for with official funds from the Office of Congressman Michael F.Q. San Nicolas.
Half a day. This is Clara Manglona from Security Title with an important warning. Wire fraud is real, and home buyers and sellers are one of the biggest targets, even on Guam. When sending money by wire transfer, be sure to confirm the wire instructions by phone, not email. In this case, it's good to be suspicious and know who you're dealing with. Let the professionals at Security Title work with you to minimize loss due to wire fraud. We are here to help.
Love is perfect timing. And now is the time to make a move on the apple of your eye. A new iPhone 13 and Apple Watch make the perfect pair. And you can get yours now during GTA's Valentine's Day special. For a limited time, buy an iPhone 13 on HPO and get an Apple Watch 7 for free. While supplies last, terms and conditions apply. To find out more, visit gta.net or call us at 671-644-4482. Roses are red, violets are blue. At GTA, we start with you.
Guam Auto Spot has the best selection in Buick, GMC, Mitsubishi, and used cars like the 2021 Mitsubishi Mirage starting at $127 per paycheck, 0 down. Call 671-478-AUTO to take a test drive or get pre-approved online at guamautospot.com.
Says 9:34 Ray Gibson Show, and I normally do the giveaway tomorrow, but a very, very serious conversation about this time tomorrow about Gold Star family, and there will be a Gold Star widow that will be joining us on the program tomorrow. So I'll give you more details on that a little bit later on. But it's a very, very interesting conversation about a soldier and messages that he left behind for his family to encourage them through the hard time that he knew was going to be coming for them. At any rate, 9:34 in the morning. So I don't want to stop down and do a contest with that going on tomorrow. So I will take tomorrow's prize and give it away today. And in this case, I will do this yet again on the Facebook Live, and I'll use the same kind of basis for the contest as I did in the last hour. It's love from the TV set. We all had that. And there are some television shows that are ground into our lifestyles and ground into our memory. One of them was a program called Laverne and Shirley.
Oh, Ray.
You remember that?
The bottling company.
Yeah,
the glove.
Yes. That's all you need to see is a glove and a can of beer, and you know exactly. It's Laverne and Shirley.
I love that show.
All right. Well, see how good your memory is. 888. I'm sorry, not the call-in, but on Facebook Live here this morning, Laverne and Shirley. Shirley was played by Cindy Williams. Cindy Williams had a recurrent on-again, off-again boyfriend on the program. His name was the Big Blank. His name was the Big Blank. Laverne and Shirley was a 70s program, so get your head out of the gutter. But what was his name? If you're on Facebook Live right now, tell me who that was. Colin Clark says Happy Days. It was a spinoff of Happy Days. Cindy Williams in the television show, and she played Shirley. Shirley had a boyfriend in the program, and his name was the Big Blank. Rico Blankenforce is the big Racoso. No, sorry, it wasn't the big Racoso.
Linguini.
It's in your. Thank you, Tello. It's in your head right now, and one of you are going to get the correct answer here, and we've got a handful of roses that we can make available to it's people Googling, right? Don't Google. You're supposed to know this off the top of your head. It was the big, and didn't he sing? There was a song that he did. Something rags to riches. I might be thinking about a different show, but somebody will figure. No, it's not the big rock, Sandra Regis. Joey Toves is close enough to write on this one. He was the big ragu.
Oh,
the big ragu.
That wasn't Squiggy.
Guys, no.
The big ragu. Yeah, you're right. He wasn't Italian.
It must have been. I didn't realize this, but he's been dead for a while. He was 69 years old when he finally passed away. 9:37. The winner here is going to be Joey Toves, and Real Joe is going to right-click on your name.
Way to go, Joey.
And say things to you that only winners get to hear. Other guesses that we're getting right now: Big Rage, says Bob and Connie Bartonico. Sandra says Big Lenny. And let me see who else. Spell check messed me up, says Bob. It's all right, buddy. It's all right. Well, you know what? And you guys, Bob and Connie Bartonico, these guys, you talk about high school sweethearts, been together forever and ever and ever. Amen. Every day is Valentine's Day to those two. A real inspiration to folks in the community. 888-8255-888-TALK is the telephone number around these parts. 797-8255 if you want to send something up on the meme machine here. Looks like we've got Dr. Ron McNinch.
Joe Rogan's bodyguard.
Amen to that, bro.
Yes.
That's Dr. Ron McNinch in the program here this morning, and happy to hang out with him a little bit on the program today because he said words in his editorial column in today's Guam Daily Post that need to be shared, and the words are. We have likely reached a point on Guam where we need to wrap up COVID-19. Thank you very much for continuing the narrative in the printed media. I wish there were more like you, Doc.
Hey, half a day, Ray, half a day, Guam.
It's time to wrap up COVID-19.
Yeah, it's about time.
So how do we do that? Because they're going to, if it was me and they said, Ray, tell you what, it's endemic, and we're just gonna, how do we leave this place without it turning into Afghanistan? And so there are going to be some people that, well, maybe we've got to do this in stages. In my heart of hearts, though, the way I would like it done is we just stop. We call an end to the public health emergency. Any restrictions and mandates that are in place become completely voluntary for the businesses. I mean, if a business still wants to make it so that I can eat out, I'm unvaccinated, so I eat outside, that's up to the business, not necessarily public health. And if if the businesses wants to have continue mask mandates for their employees or staff or whatever, that's it's completely up to them. But we do it that way. I think that might, in my mind, be the smartest way to get that done. But I'm also aware that people have been hypnotized over the last couple of years and will need some kind of security blanket to hold on to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you better watch out talking about hypnosis because Facebook and Twitter will ban you.
I don't know why. I think there's probably something to be said about this, and I don't know that you need to talk to anybody that is too deep into the psychological circles to find that there are people that literally have become almost hypnotized by and we talked about this yesterday, the chant of wash your hands, social distance, wear a mask. Num rengekyo, num rengekyo. Just people that have heard that litany over and over and over again, and it just becomes one of those self-fulfilling things.
Well, if people actually watch the interview between Robert Malone and Joe Rogan, you'd see it's a very rational, informed conversation. It's not this radical, lie-spewing tirade or whatever. It's a very informed and logical and really good, in-depth conversation about everything COVID. And, I wish that the people that are criticizing Rogan would actually listen to what he was talking about. because Rogan was asking questions that you and I would ask of a world-renowned expert on the subject.
That I think it forms the basis of good audio and video programming. Is look, I'm just a regular guy. There seems to be a big conversation and a big debate, and you bring in experts and you try to get down to the bottom of it. Of course, I've already and have expressed an opinion and my own personal narrative on what's gone on with COVID-19 here, and I would based on the science that seems to be prolific almost is the word here that pops into my head. There seems to be every single day more and more science that's coming out that says that many of the things that were put in place by these so-called experts have been wrong all of this time, and it's time for us to come to grips with the fact that COVID-19 is here. It will always be here in one form or another, and we just got to get used to it and move on with our lives.
Well, one of the things that Robert Malone was talking about, and he's the expert on the whole subject, by and large, is how much these other experts were beating up on anybody who dared to question their narrative.
Oh, if you question Fauci, you're questioning science. You remember, he actually said those words.
Right. And that's why I said, who elected Fauci king of the universe? Because, and what I was talking about when I said that in my little column was, in science, you debate things. You give your side, the other side gives their side, and then you come to a consensus on probably what's the most probable course of action. That's basic hypothesis building, basic theory building, basic empirical fact to analysis to idea formation. That's basic science. That's what science is. Science isn't, I have the conclusive proof and I'm right and everybody else is wrong. That's not what science is. Science.
How many scientists in the Middle Ages said the world was flat?
Or you could turn lead into gold.
Well, there's probably people listening right now going, the world is flat. When did that change? I didn't. Get out of here, man. Can't sail. You can't go too far. You'll sail off the edge and fall off. 9:43 in the morning. I like the way you put it in the writings on the wall column in today's Guam Daily Post. Joe Rogan saves America is the headline. 30 years from now, people will look back at 2020 and 2022 and come to the conclusion that it was Joe Rogan that killed the COVID-19 virus.
Right. Because this is a social media perpetuated crisis. It's a social media perpetuated pandemic. And a lot of it is from the drug companies that want to keep it going. They're the ones that are pushing the politicians that are then pushing everything else. And I use the word pushing like drug pushing. They're pushing all of these elements in the ways that they want to push them. And the thing that really bothered me was when Rogan and Malone talked about how India was told, don't tell anybody the secret of how you overcame COVID because we want the drugs to matter more. They have a treatment regimen in India that absolutely works. They distributed apparently millions of drug packages to overcome COVID, and the United States and Biden directly told them, don't tell anybody what you did.
I'm having a hard time getting this out. I don't like pills, and I'm fond of telling people when they ask that generally the only pills that I take, about once a week I'll pop an iron pill. A couple of times a week I'll do my the fish oil, right, and maybe if I remember, a regular vitamin pill. That's my regime, and that has worked for me for all of this time. I don't have any chronic conditions, and have all of my life just try to stay away from pills and things like that. I mean, I even hesitate to take Tylenol when I got a headache or body aches or things like that. So I've always kind of stayed away from those kinds of things. But you got me thinking now, and I know it's a question that has been out there. To what degree it's been answered in the last year or so, I don't know. But I would be interested to see among all of the great world leaders, how many of them have got ridiculous numbers of shares in companies like Johnson & Johnson, Pfizer, and Moderna. How many of them were just delighted at the idea that these companies were going to be stepping forward and helping them out with vaccines and pills and therapies that we're going to be foisting on the public for another decade?
You have to look no further than Nancy Pelosi and the choices she made at the beginning of the COVID pandemic related to these companies. It's very obvious and very clear.
Well, I don't know. Isn't she the one that was giving Trump a hard time when Trump started shutting down the flights from China? Didn't she go into Chinatown and tell everybody, no, keep coming, keep coming? I don't know. And then there's China. Then there is the China connection in all of this stuff. And I can't be the only one that has noticed this. Is we're now buying at home test kits that are made in China, the same place that gave us the COVID-19.
Right. And, if you look at what China did, and I have to say, I don't think China did this deliberately. I think they had a bad lab hygiene outbreak. And then we ended up seeing in October, November of 2019, they had something called the military games. And this group from Washington from the military went to those games, and then they had the first outbreak in Washington State.
Right.
And then when China knew during the Chinese New Year back in 2020, early 2020, they knew they had an outbreak. They said no one in our country can move between provinces in our country, but you can go to other places in the world if you want.
Yeah, you can get on a plane if you can get to the airport. 9:48 in the morning. It is one of those things, and I'm with you. I wish there were others of like mind hanging out over at the governor's office and among the physicians advisory group. And if I was a member of any of those outfits, I would be standing on my desk saying this has got to stop here. There's really, it doesn't make any sense with the COVID-19 and specifically the Omicron variant that is whipping around this town like you wouldn't believe. I think we've probably got the largest number of people that have tested positive and are in active isolation than we've ever had. I mean, Boris, if you're listening, check up on my math on that one. But it just seems to me that for something that is spreading around this rapidly, it makes no point whatsoever to even attempt to slow it down.
Well, if you listen to the Joe Rogan and Robert Malone interview on Spotify, and I encourage everyone, listen to it for yourself. Don't take Ron McNinch's opinion on this. Listen to it for yourself. It's still up.
Yep.
Omicron is basically the common cold called COVID.
That was my experience. It might have been the easiest flu I've ever had in my life. 10 away from the top of the hour. Doc, I'll talk to you soon.
Hey, have a great day. Thank you.
You know I will. And even more so now because, I like it when I get into conversations where we're basically agreeing with each other. Who's playing Zisa? Zisa Guerrero is online. Colin Clark says the Flyboys going full throttle, one by one, taking off. You will feel them before you hear them is the way that works. And I think it's absolutely terrific. And I found myself yesterday, hanging around outside the house, looking up in the sky again at that usual time to watch as these guys start making their way through the neighborhood. 888-8255-888-TALK. I was looking for, Valentine's is coming up, and obviously Valentine's, if it wasn't for women, there would be no Valentine's contest. There would just because guys are like, hey, I think you're hot stuff. I dig you. Do we have to go through this, this struggle every year? Yes, you do. Yes, you absolutely do. And soon it'll be Mother's Day, right? Some of you are going to get lucky enough and strike gold every Valentine's Day. And eventually that might turn into a situation where, hey, That's a good-looking baby you got there. And there are enough of us in the studio and associated with the radio station that understand all of this stuff. Now, they've done a survey to 1,000 moms to see the sort of things they crave most with a new baby in the house. You know the feeling. You know, yeah. You know the feeling. It's like you cannot do enough because she always looks tired. She always looks like she's had the day from hell as a new mom. And if you are a new dad, there's some advice I will hand to you here for absolutely nothing. The number one craving for new moms. I'll get to that in a second. But some of the and these are things that you can actually do. Items on the craving list, a personal chef, right? Because, I mean, she's got to take care of the formula and feeding the kid on a regular basis and pumping stuff out of the susus and all of those things that she's got to do. Wouldn't it be great if you had somebody coming around and just taking care of the kitchen police work, until you decide to get rid of it? Now, once upon a time, with different kinds of family arrangements, it would be, okay, got a new baby in the house. Honey, mom's moving in. Right?
Yeah, no, Ray.
No.
Yeah, no, Ray.
I was lucky. That was a great addition at a crucial time. Number two, another craving for new moms. Time to use the bathroom with the door closed, with nobody bugging you. Nobody banging on the door. Nobody can't hear the crying over there. I need 10 minutes alone. Just one of those things where I'm going to take my time through all of it. I might do Wordle while I'm in there. Believe it or not, sexy underwear is among the cravings of new moms.
For you. For the man to wear?
For
her to see or to wear?
I'm assuming it's for them to wear.
Oh, both.
Sexy, yeah. What's the gift that keeps on giving? Is sexy underwear? Because otherwise, it's like sweatpants and a T-shirt, right? For I don't know how many years does that last. Real Joe, what's your? What was
I wear it every day.
There we go. A day at the spa. We're talking about cravings, new mom cravings. A day at the spa. That's also a Valentine's craving. Just by the way, just FYI. Oh my God, I saw the funniest TikTok the other day, and it was a woman, Asian woman at one of these Asian kind of fingernail and foot spa places. And she was starting to look like she was going to vomit because the person's feet smelled so bad.
Oh, God.
I couldn't making the noise.
Do the soak.
There's all kinds of fun stuff on TikTok. I downloaded the app a few months ago, and I don't know, we got into a flap with China, so I got rid of it.
Oh, good man.
Yeah,
Ray.
I don't know to what degree they're
worth getting fired for too.
Almost.
TikTok.
If you work over at the prison, sure. So I don't know. There just seems to be it's gotten funnier these days. Some of the reels that I'm watching on TikTok, and something even Zuckerberg is looking and saying, yeah, we're losing to TikTok real bad here these days. So a day at the spa, long hot showers, at least once a day.
Once a day.
At least once a day.
Turn on that water
heater, I'm just assuming that maybe just that much more difficult. Your own personal time in the bathroom, that much more difficult to be able to do something as basic as taking a long hot shower. A maid, hey, like I said, honey, mom's moving in. Stop it, Raymond. Stop it, Raymond. But the number one thing that new moms crave more than anything else in that time of the baby and the family life is a good night's sleep. Just a good night's sleep. 9:54, and I'm not going to say anything. I might still be able to get in trouble, even after separation, divorce, and all this. I might still be able to get in trouble if I tell you what my sleep experience was when the babies were small. 9:55 in the morning. 888-8255, 888-TALK. Remind me to do celebrity birthdays after these. Important.
Oh, really?
Messages. Yeah. You ready? Get set. Go.
Hafaday, this is Severina. Here at APL, our expertise and extensive network can help
you grow your business and reach out to more global markets. As a responsible carrier, APL is also committed to a sustainable future, whether it's protecting the environment or investing our efforts in giving back to the community. Our dedicated teams in Guam, Saipan, and on U.S. mainland are here to support you. Call 588-4651 or visit www.apl.com.
Knowledge is power. In just 60 seconds, the Evil 360 provides you a unique experience and a detailed report of your body composition for you to take action to improve your health. The Evil 360, turning information into inspiration to live a balanced lifestyle. Evil 360 is exclusively at the Take Care Wellness Center. Go to Simply Book Me or call 671-646-6956 extension 7260 for more information and to schedule an appointment with a member of the Take Care Wellness team.
$15 might not get you that far, but Chili's is bucking the trend with $15 meal deals. At Chili's, $15 gives you not one, not two, but 3-course meal deals complete with a drink, a starter, and an entree. Mix and match 3-course meals 15 ways to Sunday with soup, salad, or chips and salsa to start, and ranchero chicken tacos, honey chipotle crispers with rice, bacon ranch quesadillas, or personal fajitas for the main course. Build your own $15 meal deal at Chili's. More life and great value happen here.
I love this. I love this. The meme machine online and working today. This one here. This just in from Plain Boy. Biden administration issues new masks with holes in them so you can smoke your free government crack pipe. Yes. On the deal. That really is in my blind spot, real job. I mean, we got to something. Maybe later today I'll see if I can dig out some information on what that big controversy is about. Apparently that's where we are with this administration.
Where are they going to get them, Ray?
China. They're coming from China. And
Thank you, China.
You know, maybe it's just one of these weird things. This is my experience with the government, and you know, you watch the legislature kind of get whatever in action, and somebody throws out a bad idea. And now the problem is nobody ever says, you know, that's a bad idea. What they try to do then is to try to embellish. You see this happening in business, right? You get into these long meetings and somebody will come up with a bad idea in a meeting, and nobody's got the temerity in many cases to say, no, that's a lousy idea, whatever. You know, because we all want to be inclusive and make sure that everybody's opinion counts. And there's not going to be any finger pointing when we're brainstorming new and different way. Blah 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 blah. So you get these guys and they're out there and they say the dumbest things, and then what happens is somebody else in that same group of dumb people says, you know what, hold my beer. I'm going to take your bad idea and find a way to make it even worse. And I'm sure that's where this came from, out of an abundance of concern for people that might be having problems with drug addiction and some kind of substance abuse. And they said, well, we're just going to have to find a way to make things easier for them. Let's give them. We don't want syringes laying around. My God, the kids are going to find those things. Tell you what, how about we just give everybody that needs one a crack pipe, right? And it started off as a bad idea, and then they took it all the way to the federal level, and it just gets worse. And you might be wondering, is there a local analog? And the answer is yes, there is. Before too much longer, we won't even be able to get paper bags at the grocery store. The plastic bag from Subway, it's a memory. It's a thing of the past. Plastic bags at Payless, unless you're bringing them yourself, you cannot find them there anymore. They took a lousy idea and found ways to make it worse. Just wait till they outlaw your plastic bottle. Your water comes in. And you ought to be using a Hydro Flask anyway. But in a lot of cases, that might not always be practical. But we don't care about practicality. We care about how the polling is. Now, listen, I got to break away. Fox News Live's coming up next for Real Joe Cruz and Montesilva Tyron and Jerry Roberts. My name is Ray Gibson. Don't forget, tune in this afternoon at 4. Tall Tales with Bob Klitsky. Here's Fox News.
There's no new guidance. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. As governors in several states loosen mask mandates citing COVID numbers in decline, CDC Director Rochelle Walensky says the data to support that isn't there yet.
We continue to recommend masking in areas of high and substantial transmission. That's much of the country right now in public indoor settings.
New York is the latest state to end its mask mandate effective tomorrow, but is leaving up to local governments to make their own decisions, and the mandate for schools is still in place. President Biden could address a full House chamber when he delivers the State of the Union address next month.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says she hopes to be able to invite every member of Congress to attend President Biden's State of the Union address on March 1st.
I think that people are ready to pivot in a way